Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 39, Fast 5, Lap 4. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too, and this episode's brought to you by Bird's Eye Vegetables. So every day, for nearly a century, they've worked tirelessly to make vegetables irresistible, easier to buy, store, prepare, and serve. More delicious, more delightful, because when people get more of their daily nutrition from vegetables and plants, remarkable things happen. It seems your mom was right all along. It's good to eat vegetables, so they make vegetables good to eat.
Well, you know I like my dessert first.
But you're going to need your vegetables.
If it's good to eat, it's good to eat. That's all I gotta say.
You know that's the second part of the quote, right?
Of course. There's so much of this movie that I have memorized. Like lines.
Which is crazy, yeah. I didn't think that there was that much of this. Like, if you were like, hey, what are like some of the great quotes from Fast 5? I'd have to sit there and think for a minute. But like, once you put it on, I'm like, oh shit. Like, I know everything that's going to happen in this movie, so.
So we are here. This is we're more than halfway now through. Well, I guess technically this is sort of the midway point because we are going to have a Hobbs and Shaw episode, I think, this lap.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, maybe we are. Damn.
You know, we're sort of in the midway point now that we're more than 8 movies per lap. We're now officially going to ring in the 9th movie this lap, so that's very exciting. We are now
that's really exciting.
Halfway through this lap. Joining us after the break will be the hosts of the P.S. I Love Hoffman podcast, right here on the Cage Club Podcast Network, one of whom you already know, also the host of the High School Slumber Party podcast, Brian Rodriguez, and his pal and friend and fellow podcaster, Kyle Reinfried, the host of the Foodie Films podcast. They will be joining us after the break. But before we get there, Joe, let's talk about extracurricular activities. I don't know about you, but I've been doing a whole lot of nothing lately, and it's been pretty good.
Sometimes it feels great to do a lot of nothing. I can agree. I like a lot of nothing. What did I do? Well, we had the 4th of July since last time I recorded, right?
But did you do anything? Because I didn't do anything, really.
I did nothing. We talked about this together. My goal for the 4th of July was to do nothing. We woke up early. I started drinking. I was, like, really drunk by myself. I mean, well, with Rachel. I went to bed at 9 o'clock. And I heard the fireworks in my bed.
I was thinking about, because, I was sitting in my living room, I'm like, maybe I should go, because there's, like, fireworks, like, close by, and, I don't have to go, like, into a park. I can just sort of drive around and maybe catch some. And then that night, the Yankees won extra innings. I was like, well, I guess I'm not leaving I could just pause. So I was like, I don't really want to go out. I'll just continue watching the baseball game. What we have been doing, you and I have been doing a lot of lately, crushing Ryan Gosling podcasts. So if you can't get enough of our voice, and again, it might not seem like this interest level is the same thing because it's, Ryan Gosling movies, not quite Fast and Furious. It's the same nonsense. It's the same nonsense we recorded on podcasts.
We recorded a podcast about Ryan Gosling walking around a sex doll pretending it was real. I mean, that's as close to this as you can get.
In what way? Explain that one to me.
I mean, like, us talking about it.
Oh, sure.
The love of watching that is pretty equivalent to what you'd hear here.
Our most diehard listeners will know that right now our Gosling podcast is once every 3 months, on the 21st of the month every 3 months, but starting August 1st it will be weekly. So if you want more of us, more Gosling, starting August 1st for a couple months to burn off the rest of those episodes, we are going to have those. So go check that out.
Oh, I do have a Trash TV update for you.
Okay.
I haven't told you about it yet.
Is this a new show or is this an update to an existing show?
It's a new show. It's a new show, but it's not really a new show. As I mentioned before, my buddy is visiting from England.
Dominic Toretto.
He watches this show in England called Love Island. This is the first year, like this week, they started it in America.
Ooh.
Okay? And the show is this. Check this out. You're going to love this.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Okay. I just watched one episode, and by the time this comes out, there'll be so many more episodes anyways, because it's on 5 nights a week, by the way.
On what channel?
CBS.
Really?
Yeah. So it starts off, they do a man auction, okay? So they line up 4 girls. They have guys come out one by one. Then the girl steps forward if she thinks she likes this guy. It's like if she wants to fuck him, she steps forward.
It's like The Voice.
But he doesn't get to say anything. He's not allowed to say anything. He's like, "Hi, ladies, I'm Nigel," or whatever. I don't know their fucking names. So,
sure.
And the girls are like, "Ooh, I'd fuck him." So they step forward. So then he has to pick a girl, and you think that it would be like, he'd have to like pick a girl that like kind of likes him. No, he can pick any girl he wants because this is just
even ones who didn't step forward.
Yes, he could just like in quotation marks force himself on a woman.
Well, so here's a question: what's the goal of the game? Like before we go further, like what is he trying to do? Why would you want to pick someone who doesn't want to be with you?
It doesn't really matter. Because the thing is that they just have to be the best couple. You're trying to be the best couple.
In what regard?
In who votes for you the most.
Okay.
So he could pick any girl he wants. But normally, you pick a girl that says she likes you first, right? Like it's an easy choice. Then next guy comes out. Now, every girl can step forward again, even if she already has a guy. He can just like take a girl that already has like a fake boyfriend, like a 30-second boyfriend, and then that guy has to go to the subs bench, and he's alone. Okay.
So it's like a white elephant, like a gift swap at Christmas.
Yeah, it's a Yankee swap.
So, okay, so here's a question. So you go out first, you pick a girl. Do I know that you've already picked that girl or no?
Yeah, because then you, like, line up together. So, like, you see that she has a man. Like, they're on the line.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not like a spoiler or anything. So everybody gets coupled up. Now, when you're coupled up, that means you have to sleep in the same bed as that person, as your couple. So this is like night one. We're like 3 hours in. They're like, okay, gotta sleep in the same bed together. And I was like, very interesting. They all sleep in one giant room, like a dormitory. So they're all in like queen-size beds, or maybe even double beds or whatever. But like they're all in like beds, and then it's in one room. The surprise twist at the end of the first episode is they bring out a lonely girl. There's one extra girl.
A sad queen, if you will.
Yeah, sad queen. And she doesn't have a man, and she doesn't get a man until after the first day. She's like, all alone, but she has to be flirty because she has to like steal a man soon. At the end of the first day, all the girls are like, oh, we like our fake boyfriends, all 6 hours we spent with them. And then she's like, well, guess what? That one's mine.
Does she kick? Does the one girl? Does the girl that she steals a guy from? Does she leave the show, or is she just now the lonely girl?
She's the lonely girl, but if she doesn't get like repicked, then she's out.
Oof. Brutal.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of possibilities that are about to happen. So anyways, I'm going to be a month-long deep in Love Island. If you guys would like to talk Love Island with me, message on Facebook. We could talk all about it. And I'll keep you updated if something crazy happens I need to tell Joey about. This is the only way I can convince him to listen to it. So I'll tell him here.
I'm forced to listen to it twice, both while listening to it now and then while editing again. So, I mean, this is really hammering home Love Island, I guess.
You should just watch the show.
Probably not going to do that, but I appreciate the effort and the enthusiasm.
Anyways, it's fun. I like trash TV. I like trash movies. I will be watching Love Island because I love all this. I talked about Temptation Island on here, right?
Maybe?
I think I did.
I don't know. I know that we talked about it. I would assume it's probably on here, but I don't know.
Okay, so that's what I've been up to. Nothing else, really.
So we have a Patreon page here on the show, patreon.com/TooFastTooForever, or just TooFastTooForever.com. It'll bring you there. Shout out to Cassie Wilson, Jake Fear, and Ben Milliman for supporting us over there. So thank you all. Again, reminder, Ben Milliman supporting at a level where he gets to pick a movie that we're watching for a pit stop.
Yeah.
And we have officially slotted this in time-wise. So, still not going to announce what movie it is, because I still want to keep that a little bit of a secret. As it gets closer, we'll let you know. But between The Fate of the Furious and our Hobbs and Shaw episode, we're going to have a bonus episode in one of those off weeks.
Yeah.
Where we watch this movie that Ben picked. And it's a great movie, a movie that fits in with the podcast, with the themes of the show. We have officially slotted that in so that, unless something weird and wild happens, September 3rd, pit stop, this movie.
Oh,
so look
you
forward
announced
to
a date for Ben, too. Oh.
Also, here's a little bit of a note, and we're going to have some news in a little bit, but next week we're going to have another bonus episode where we're going to do a Hobbs and Shaw preview. So
I'm
we're
excited.
still, in every other week podcast, but we've got a lot of bonus stuff coming your way. So get excited. I hope you're excited.
I'm excited.
I hope you want more of us instead of less of us.
I want less of you.
Okay.
I want more of us. I just want less of you.
I love us. What's the Kanye song where he says "I love us"?
I don't remember.
Now
I'm just thinking I love the old Kanye.
I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah.
Murder to Excellence. Yes, it's off Watch the Throne.
Yes.
And do you know how hard it was for me to not say Watch the Theron there? Because I haven't said Watch the Throne. I've said Watch the Theron probably hundreds of times since I've said Watch the Throne, but...
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about it. No, I didn't. That's funny, though.
I'm going to do a review check right now, so shout out to Cassie, Jake, and Ben for supporting us on Patreon. If you want to, we've got some merch that you can get. So we're going to have more merch this fall.
Everybody thinks should have gotten their stickers by now, too.
I think so. I think
we talked to them. I think everybody that had stickers in the mail definitely got them, so...
Mm-hmm. You can control what we watch. You can pick entire themed laps for pit stops. Anything you want to do. There's a lot of madness and a lot of fun stuff over there. Also, you get stuff early. You get early access to episodes. You get access to the Fast and Furious Minute document. There's a lot of great stuff over there. TooFastTooForever.com. Joe, I just went on iTunes to check our reviews. Still 13 ratings, all 5 stars. Still the 5 reviews. Most recent one is the Fergie and Jesus review from Wells.
Yes.
So shout out to all of you. Thank you for reviewing us. If you review our show on iTunes or wherever, let us know, and we will read the review on air. And also, just thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thanks for writing reviews.
Oh, so here's another thing. So
what?
I wrote this down. Since we last recorded, it feels like, we've recorded 5 or 6 podcasts because it's Gosling and one Shannon that just came out today as we're recording this. You, specifically, you actually did something, believe it or not. Do you remember what you did?
No.
You tested Rabbit, and Rabbit works.
Oh, shit, I forgot to talk about that. Yes, I did. So, okay, guys, I did a little test run with Joey about Rabbit for our family viewing, okay? We talked about it, and again, sometimes we're a little slow. You know, the episodes come out, but we like to plan stuff out. We want to make it work. I gave Rabbit a shot.
Remind people what this is if they don't know what this is, if they don't know what Rabbit is with family viewing.
They claim it's like a social media kind of thing, but it's not. You make an account, you sign up. Somebody sends you a link, and it's like a go-to meeting or something for work, right? You like click and you like join their chat room, essentially. It like opens another browser and you can all watch the same movie together. This is how we're gonna watch Fast and the Furious, hopefully.
And it worked really well. Like, the quality was great.
I made a room, I invited Joey, and I was like, here, just like see what's going, like just tell me what it looks like, take a picture, what does the chat room look like on your side, because, you know, it's hard to sometimes be the admin and know what the user interface looks like.
Yep.
So we sussed this all out, and go ahead.
It works. It looks great. I'd never needed to log into Netflix, so if you don't have, I'm assuming most people have Netflix, but if you don't have Netflix and you want to be a part of
mine,
our family viewing, you can still do that. I know that a lot of our more active listeners, I don't think Wes, but I think most of our active listeners are on Facebook. So we will create a Facebook event, and we'll let you know on here when we're watching it, where we're watching it, the link, and all that sort of fun stuff. Also, speaking of events, we officially bought our tickets to Hobbs and Shaw.
We did.
If you're in the New York area, you can go to our Facebook page, or you can email us, family@cageclub.me, and ask when we're seeing it, where we're seeing it. All the information's on there. I would say it now, but it's easier just to go online and look at the link there. The link to directly buy tickets is on the Facebook event page.
Cool.
To our specific showing, theater, our time, our 2D experience, all that sort of stuff. Facebook.com/TooFastTooForever. Go check out when we're seeing Hobbs and Shaw, and if you're around, see with us.
You know what's going to be really funny? Well, first of all, one of our guests tonight is going to be with us.
Of course, Mr. Brian Rodriguez will be there.
You mentioned maybe, possibly one of our guests from our only guest from last episode, Mr. Larson.
Yeah, so Christian Larson
might be joining us.
Our guest from the entire last lap, Mr. Mike Manzi, will be joining us.
Yeah, he'll be joining us.
Our guest from the next episode, you've heard about her. You will hear her on the next episode. Rachel will be joining us.
Yes, true.
And then Joe and I, of course, will be there. So we're gonna be rolling about 7 or 8 deep, I think. So join us.
You know what's gonna be funny is what if there's somebody out there that's listening, that's close, that's gonna buy tickets, but also like didn't write in, and we're just gonna be at the theater. They're gonna be like, "Hey guys, what if every other ticket in the theater is sold to Too Fast Too Forever fans?"
Larson was asking me about it, and I think he was just asking me about which thing I'm doing, but I think he
Do we have reserved seats, by the way?
They are reserved seats. We have 5 in the middle, where we got good seats.
Cool.
But he was asking away it sort of sounded like he thought that we bought out a theater. We did not buy out a theater. We did not get a theater. No. This is just a public screening that we are just sort of co-opting for our nonsense. So join us if you're in the New York area. It's not in New York City. It's in New York State, the Palisades Mall. But join us if you're in the New York area. Send us a note. Go on Facebook, find the thing. And I don't think anybody is. I think everybody who has supported us on Patreon that I've mailed the stickers to, none of them live anywhere close to us.
No, and there'd be no reason to be free to fly in to come see the movie with us.
Eventually, maybe. Who knows?
Hopefully.
But so Joe, let's open up the mailbag. Has there before we open the actual mailbag? Have there been any conversations you've had on Facebook that you want to bring? I'm not setting you up for anything. Is there anything else that you want to point out that people have been talking to you about on Facebook?
Start with the emails, and I'll get there eventually.
Okay. So we have 5 emails.
Okay.
First up, Joe Reed, subject line, Joe 3.
Hi, Joe 3.
Hey, guys. I fell a little behind, but just finished episode 36, and as a fellow foodie, have some input on the burger debate. Wonderful. This continues.
And good timing, because we're going to have Kyle on right after the break.
The foodie
and
films
he is
man himself.
Yeah, he is the foodie.
I hope we remember to ask him about burgers and don't completely forget that.
Yeah, can we spoil it a little bit?
This is the first time we've ever done this, but we're actually recording this intro after we recorded the full episode because we were supposed to do everything in order like we normally do last night, but I had to work until 10:30 when I thought I was going to be done by, at the worst, 8. I was just, I was a 2-hour conference call and just doing a presentation for today. Thankfully, our guests were super flexible, super cool. They're our friends. I thought they might be, but, in terms of schedules, who knows what people are doing. But we were able to do the entire episode the way that we wanted to do it. But we had to do the intro after the fact, which we're doing right now.
Yeah, so that's the joke that we were making.
But we did not remember to ask him about fast food burgers.
Yeah, we didn't. Damn. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, in the future, Joe 3. We'll ask him, yes. But okay, Joe 3. Growing up in Iowa, I didn't have In-N-Out or Whataburger, but I've tried both since.
Okay.
In-N-Out in Vegas and Whataburger when he lived in Oklahoma. Honestly, I'm not sold on either. They're both good in their own right, but neither are necessarily a go-to for me.
What's your fast food go-to then?
He says, while living in Oklahoma, I came across a smaller chain called Smitty's Garage Burgers and Beer, which sounds great. All those things
I like that
great.
name, too. Smitty's?
Yeah. And that became my favorite burger spot. Quick Google search shows there are a couple locations in Austin, too, or the Austin area, so maybe you can check it out.
Yeah,
Burgers are great, and while their fries aren't my favorite, you can substitute house-made chips, which are terrific.
Oh.
I feel like a place that does a nice house-made chip is always...
Homemade chips are fire. Yeah, I agree.
It's a little higher end than a fast food joint, but just like you guys said about Torchy's Tacos, it's not fast food, it's more casual dining. It was a favorite of Mrs. Dr. Joe 3 also. Joe says, speaking of which is better, and Torchy's, there's another casual dining taco spot in Oklahoma called Fuzzy's Tacos.
Fuzzy's and Torchy's. I like it.
It's debated which is better, Torchy's or Fuzzy's. I like both, and living in Arkansas now, we have a Fuzzy's, and they're just finishing building a Torchy's, so I'm excited to be able to go to both again.
God.
Cool.
We might have to have a taco debate real soon.
Okay.
We might have to go and do a Torchy's, Fuzzy's combo and start this whole ride over.
Yeah. We got nothing but time, A. But B, I kind of don't want to, rush the burger debate, because I feel like the burger debate is still alive and kicking. I want to sort of ride that out and then transition
We
to
rode
the
out
taco
No
debate.
Knees to Knees for like a lap and a half. We finally got over that hump.
Well, we're going to have to get Rachel's take on it next episode when it comes up in
I
Fast
thought
and
about
Furious
that.
6, so.
I thought about that. She's going to be on it, and it's the episode about it. I can't wait to hear what she says.
Joe says, I suppose everything comes down to personal preference. If we all agreed that one restaurant had the best food, then what would be the need for all the other chains? Variety is crucial.
Yeah, then we would just be drinking Soylent like Wes.
Don't even remind me. Joe says, glad we could have a quality food debate on a Fast and Furious podcast. It's one of the things I really like about listening to you guys. As always, keep up the great work, guys. Joe 3. P.S. Oil is one syllable.
Oh,
Thank
oil.
you.
Which is wrong, because you say two.
Oh, I want two.
You just
I want
fucked
to.
it up again. Twice
I'm
in this
going to fuck it
episode.
up later in the episode, too, so get ready for that. I can't remember. Oil. Two.
Oil.
Okay.
It's one.
What I meant to say was thank you, Joe, for writing in. No thank you for your incorrect take there, but thank you for writing in. I think it's apparent to anyone who listens to us, but it's something that Joe and I talk about a lot. This podcast is ostensibly about the Fast and Furious, but it's not really about the Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
It's just about nonsense. The name might sort of confuse people or sort of pigeonhole us into a thing, but, that's why we keep saying, the Gosling podcast, the Channing Tatum podcast, the Zac Efron podcast, they're all the same thing, because it's just our opinions on just a movie and relating them to our life or whatever. So
yeah, a lot of weird personal stories and shit like that. So
because as much as we love these movies, I don't think either of us have any interest in doing a 2.5-hour podcast exclusively about the movies.
No,
every episode.
It's gonna be burger debates.
I want to argue about burgers for 20 minutes every episode. I want to
I'm fine with that.
Somehow get through you talking about Love Island. Can't believe I remember the name for 8 minutes.
You're gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna give fucking updates. So
I love these movies, but I also love the other stuff, and that's what I hope you all like about this as well. So
in the process of reading Joe 3's wonderful email, thank you Joe 3 for writing in. I remembered what I've been up to in the chat conversation, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but I didn't mention it to you because I wanted you to naturally find it. Did you find it?
Oh, Kikopa.
So we got. I'm just gonna read the whole conversation that I had with Mosea. That's the name of the account that was messaging us. They say hello. I say hello. They say
this is also for the first time that we've had someone who isn't actually a listener sending us notes.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised took this long, honestly.
Yeah. They replied Kikopa pick.
K-E space K-O-P-A.
It was
Kikopa.
2 spaces. It's K-E 2 spaces
Okay.
K-O-P-A pick.
Kikopa pick.
Yeah, Kikopa pick. And then prayer hand emojis. And I said Kikopa pick indeed. Because that's the only response I had to that. And they sent me a very suave Indian man picture. He has like a Pauly D blowout. He has like the finger under the chin. He got a ring on. And he has like a red collar. And he's just looking fly. So they sent me that. And they say, Kikopa pick. Prayer hand emojis.
Yep.
Thumbs up. And I was just like, I don't know where this is going. And I'm trying to think of responses. They say hello. Again, this is it within minutes.
Well, so that's how I find it, because I get a notification on Facebook that we get a new message, and it just says, Mosea sends a message, hello, and I'm just like, okay. I figure you're on top of it, but I'm also like, I don't know if this is new or what this is, but yeah, okay. And I just go on there, and again, hello.
They go hello after the end of the picture thing. I say, hello, you got any Kikopa pics? And they say hello. And I said, send me Kikopa pics. They say hello. So I Googled, I wanted this to go further, but it didn't. But I have like a whole section in my phone now that are photos saved of pictures that say Kikopa on them somewhere. I don't know what this means, but I started sending them Kikopa pics. So I have a picture.
Well, so I Googled it and I found that there's like an Indian television program where this is either like a character or an actor or something, but we also don't know if that's the same Kikopa.
Yeah, I have no idea. But anyway, so I started sending them Kikopa pics. So I sent him a pic of a very suave-looking man with a tie on and a little like a little, what is this? Like a little vest going, and it says Kikopa Hobua, and I was hoping that this would suffice, but then they stopped responding to me like I was a weirdo, and that's where my conversation ended.
You should message them right now and just see if we get another message by the time we finish recording the intro. Just say hello and just see what happens.
Send it now.
Joe, our next email is from Wells Lamont. Subject line, B Spills and BoCon.
Okay, what is this? B Spills, Brian Spillner, and
B-O apostrophe C-O-N.
O'Connor. Brian O'Connor.
Yep, B-O-Con. Okay. Wells says, end of Fast 5. If I'm betting all my heist money on roulette, it would be to bet on black, but I would also cover my ass and split 0 and double 0 like a smart gambler does, especially if I'm the homie who put everything on red to cancel the bet out. My beef, how good could the feeling be of already having 10 million and poof, now I have 20, compared to the suicidal feeling of I already have 10 million and poof, now I have 0. Winning is great, but losing's 10 times worse than winning is great. Trust me, LOL.
I agree with this, Wells, and this is specifically, and we've talked about that you might talk about, sports betting as well. This is specifically why I never gamble on my own team. I never bet money on my team because...
You're a regular Pete Rose.
Yeah, because if you win and you win, you're like, cool, we won, I'm happy. If you lose and you lose, your team lost and you lost money on it, that low is so much lower than the high you'll get if your team wins and you win money.
Now, have you ever thought about, like, when the Steelers, for instance, were in the Super Bowl a couple times this century?
Yeah.
I think you were maybe too young, and especially as sports betting was not at a point where it is now.
Yeah.
But have you ever considered, I don't know, this might be not unethical, but just you might feel dirty, betting against them? So either way you kind of win?
No, I don't bet anything on my team when it's... I don't bet for, against, I don't bet the spread, nothing. I don't want any bets on the game. The game will happen as it is. I will gamble on anything else, but I never bet on my team. I did play FanDuel this year for the Penguins, and I would crush. But FanDuel is like, you pick, it's like fantasy, one-day
daily fantasy.
Yeah, daily fantasy. So that I don't really consider that. That's like, no, you're not picking anybody to win, right? You're picking like who's going to score and stuff like that.
Right.
You pick both teams, so that didn't feel dirty like this.
I'm going to talk about it on here, but when we watched the Super Bowl this year, I was with a woman, my friend's friend. She had never made sports bets before, and she proceeded to lose like $30 in about 8 minutes on just like the dumbest bets I've ever I was like, no, I'm like, what do you? Oh, okay, all right. Enjoyed like losing all that money. Like it was just like the dumbest bets, and plus, the Super Bowl this year was terrible. The commercials were terrible. The game was terrible. I was just like, this is all... I'm not enjoying any of this, but... Anyway, I digress. Wells' email goes on. To distract the room from foiling the master plan... Oh, this is his gut instincts question. I'd sing Waiting for Tonight by J-Lo, and I'd kill it.
Oh, Waiting for Tonight!
The Spanish version is so much better. It's beautiful. I think it's called Una Noche Más. One More Night.
Oh,
I think I've heard that too.
I don't think I have. I know the beat, so like it probably sounds familiar, but I don't think I've listened to the Spanish version.
Well, maybe you should.
I will.
Maybe you should.
Maybe I wills.
Not only did Tim Allen get busted with cocaine...
You didn't miss my joke? You just ignore the whole... Okay, fine.
I like it. I was going to say something before as Wells or something like that, but I didn't. I think we're better than that.
Okay. I'm not.
Not only did Tim Allen get busted with cocaine, but he got a few DUIs under his belt.
Yeah, I think I read about the DUIs. They kind of like they skimp over the cocaine charge, which was like the heavy. Like he was pushing weight, so
maybe he just got swept under the rug or whatever because he snitched.
Probably.
You guys notice in Tokyo Drift, DK doesn't punch Sean at all until later in the movie. He had like 3 or 4 opportunities and 3 or 4 very good reasons to just tee off on him instead of crow hopping him and catering him like a bar mitzvah. Love it. He always gets his face close enough to kiss him, and at most, pushes him or just stares at him while their noses touch. Also, DK's head is always angled lower than it should be to look straight across, but his eyes are still looking at Sean. It's like a head nod that he never brought back up.
Yeah, he does have his chin down, right? He like looks at him with his chin down, like...
It's like a condescending glare, I think.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, it says, I forgot if you've covered this before, but a lot of people say the Fast and Furious franchise was based around Dom. I always thought it was the Brian O'Connor show. What do y'all think?
Oh, I think it's Brian's show. I think that Dom might be the foundation, but story-wise for the movies, it's Brian's movies.
Here's the thing.
They're not Dom's movies.
Brian is the character, like in a lot of movies, movies start where like there's an already established world or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a character that enters that world, and they're like our entry point. So in that case, it's absolutely Brian's world.
But
Like, Dom
Brian's
and his
even
crew
in
and Dom and
more
his family are already doing what they're doing, but we are now Brian through the eyes of Brian. We're seeing the first movie through the eyes of Brian, and he's the one who is experiencing this world.
Brian's the through line, though, dude. I guess Dom is kind of in 3, while he's definitely not in 2. Brian's like the through, like, he's the one in the movies the most. I think he gets most screen time.
So I think the first, say, 4 movies, maybe,
Yeah.
are Brian, even though he's not in 3. I think from 5, it sort of started to pivot. And I mean, even if Paul Walker hadn't died, I think now the movies are Dom. I think that they're more about
5,
Dom.
I think 5, they're a team. They're a partnership. I think that's
Well,
split 50-50.
that's the pivot point. That's the pivot point. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they're
not,
50-50.
it's not
I
just
can agree
about
with
him
this.
anymore.
Yeah, you're right. I can agree with this, because I think by 6, Dom is definitely the leader.
Because then, Letty comes back, and so now it's about Dom and Letty, and then 7 is kind of, again, sort of a team thing, but also sort of trying to get Letty back on his side.
Yeah.
And then 8 is obviously about Dom because he goes bad.
Yeah.
And then, now Brian's not around anymore. I think it definitely started as sort of Brian's franchise, but I think as the movies have evolved, and sort of as Vin Diesel especially took more of creative control, I think it became more about Dom.
Yeah, that's fair. And now, especially because Paul Walker's not in 7 forward, it's definitely going to be about Dom from here on out.
Last thing is, I'm bullet noting you guys right now, but it's necessary for my laziness to complete this email anyway. Can't wait till August 1st. It's going down. We have 4 cars going to the drive-in because I'm not going to smoke throughout this entire movie. I'm also watching it twice that night. So
Wait, so he's not going to smoke during this entire movie, or he's saying he needs to smoke? That's why he's going to the drive-in. He's like not going to not smoke. I don't know.
Twice he's not going to smoke.
I don't know. You got to see one of them stoned if you're going twice. Like, at least watch the second one stoned, right?
I don't know. Maybe
that'd be my recommendation. I mean, like, I'm not a big smoker anymore, so take that with a grain of salt. But I would definitely watch one of them stoned. Like, especially like if you like already like if you watch the first one sober and then you went in the second one, you'd be like, oh shit, that happened. Like, I remember this, but I'm high.
I can also see wanting to see it twice, like sort of like picking up the details that you missed the first time, and then the third time you go high.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's confusing to me because it feels like the drive-in will be the best place to like go to like smoke. You know what I mean? Like, you can't smoke in a theater, so it'd be like better to smoke in a drive-in. I don't know. I'm confused.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Next email from Nick Burris. Hey guys, couple things about 4.
Ooh.
One thing I do like 4 as a reboot, especially the audition race, because it was more realistic in the wheel stand Dom does in the Chevelle than the first in the Charger. Since the car doesn't sit in limbo, not showing, and then up and down. Which I think, is that like the wheelie?
When he does a wheelie.
When he throttles it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He says, but it was iconic at what made it famous. He says, plus it shows the raw power of American muscle, RRR, as Tim Allen says.
Another Tim Allen email, 2 in a row.
Nick says, you mentioned old-style games and brought back memories of Outrun. Loved that game. He said, plus it was a Need for Speed fan when Carbon came out because it introduced muscle cars. And the 2 newest games is more of a GTA feel, the real map, and you roll with a crew, kind of like in the movie itself.
Wow, I like that. I like that idea.
I've played a good amount of Need for Speed in my day. Played other games more, but I'm a fan of Need for Speed for sure.
Yeah.
I love Driver San Francisco was a real feel with actual real cars, plus a little bonus, they had movie scenes that I can recreate like Bullet, and Vanishing Point. Don't remember if Fast and Furious was represented, but it's still cool.
It should have been, if it wasn't.
One thing I noticed when I saw 4, that Dom crashes his Charger that Letty put back together in the mountain when he jumps the F-bomb Camaro, he says, which is a real 8-second drag car.
Well, we'll get there.
But at the end, they have a similar Charger. But it's like they have another one in the back of the house. So one more thing, and this is something we're going to correct in the Fast and Furious Minute. I realized this time around for the newest minute that we're going to talk about in a little bit. He says that Leon is in Dom's crew and Lance is Johnny Tran's brother.
You know why we were mixing it up, or why I was mixing it up for sure.
Yeah, You Are My Lifespan.
Yeah, exactly, because I'm hung up on Lunar She-Wolf's fanfiction, because she talks about Lance a lot, because Lance is part of her story, so... Yeah.
Plus, also, like, I feel like Leon is not a big character at all, and, like, if you Google him, because I was trying to figure out who the actor was who played him, and everything you Google about him is just like, where did he go? Is his character still alive? Where is he in the Fast and Furious? So like people, like basically his most noteworthy attribute is that he disappeared.
What if he comes back in 9?
I would love it.
He's like comes out of nowhere and you're like, is that fucking Leon?
People would be like, who's Leon? Be like, oh, you don't even know.
Kids these days.
Nick says, anyways, keep doing what you do. I got nothing but time, Nick. Well, thank you, Nick, for writing in. Thanks for the correction. We will do better. We will be better. But also, I hope you are enjoying our You Are My Lifespan, because that's the
and if you're
the
not,
most important story that we're talking about.
For any reason you skip those ones, just go give them a listen. They're so fucking good. And it's going to get worse. I mean, it's going to get better.
It's going to get weirder. We can say that.
It's definitely, there's going to be a lot of clamming.
And I have not read ahead, but I'm just assuming that it can't not get weirder, so.
There's going to be some good old fucking soon.
Last two emails are from Wes. The second one he sends is sort of like a little addendum. He sends a link from L.com, which is analyzing the series through the 7 types of narrative conflict. He says, not totally illuminating, but a fun, quick read. So I'm going to put this in here. Maybe we can put this on the site or on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that was a little addendum from Wes. Okay, so Wes writes, Fast 5, what up, fam? Says, I hope I haven't already missed the new episode. Wes, you have not. You are in plenty of time.
Yeah.
I was off most of last week and I never found time to sit down and write. It's all right, though. This will be quick, so it'll keep until next episode. Plus, so you had a few car pictures saved up, so I won't send any this time, which, as you listen to at the end of the episode, we did the one pick that Nick sent in. We still didn't get to yours, so we still have one in the chamber, if you will. So you don't have to send another one in. I mean, if you want to send a new one in, anybody, please, by all means, email family@cageclub.me.
Yeah,
but
we'll keep playing the game.
He says, Christian was a fun guest. I like that he brought such a wide range of things to the table to discuss. And he got Twinkie in the character game, which is amazing.
Yes.
Wait till the end of this episode. Kyle gets a great character as well. Another new character. No spoilers, but another new character.
Yeah.
He says, I kind of wondered if Twinkie would ever show up for anyone, but it's been a pretty good distribution so far.
I think so.
Yeah, that's what surprised by
we were saying this, like, we eventually got somebody to, give us the percentages of the characters and stuff like that. It's kind of dismal because there's 20 of them, like 5%, right? Isn't that, like, what you should get?
It should be. And like our original goal, and I think we might have talked about this, is that we wanted some people like Dom and Brian to be like in the
a little bit higher,
8 to 10% range.
Yeah.
We wanted everybody to have like say at least 3 or 4. Some are a little bit less than that, but there's a lot are in that 5 range.
We've been getting good distributions, and people are answering the questions. We didn't want to sacrifice the questions to balance out the distribution, right?
Yep.
So like I want it to still feel natural, and like I want people to answer real answers of what they would say and get a character that they would get. So far, they've all nailed it, and Wes's like character descriptions are hilarious, and everybody's always surprised by them, and I love it. So.
Yep. But again, I'm not 100% sure. I thought about this last night. I think we gave Wes a shout out, but again, at the end.
No, I think we did.
Wes is the one who wrote all of the character descriptions. So thank you, Wes. Shout out, Wes. Wes's email goes on. I think Joe too gets top billing because Joe and Joey flows better than Joey and Joe. Well, maybe not.
It looks better that way too, and I look better that way. It's like it goes in top. I get top billing in handsomeness.
Well, behind every great man is a great woman, or whatever, right? So doesn't mean anything. Just it's the first thing I thought of. He says, but I might be a little biased. I don't know why you'd be biased, but I guess fuck you. I don't know.
No, he's saying biased of the words. That had nothing to do with like people. I know how Wes meant that.
I know, but I still, my name is my name. Anyway, here's something you might not have known about me and might be surprised to hear. Back in junior high and high school, my 2 best friends and I were juggalos. Oh boy.
No, he told us. He mentioned being in the Juggalo family before to us.
Did he?
He either sent us a message about it or something. Like, yeah, we talked about it. Or maybe he sent it just to me. I don't know.
He says we can talk about it more off-pod if you're interested. Suffice it to say we've all moved on, but still think about that time fondly and have nothing bad to say about the community.
I want to go to gatherings so bad. I beg Rachel every year to take me to the gathering of the Juggalos. I want to go. So I'm not a Juggalo. I was never a huge ICP fan. I'm fascinated by the culture in a fun, accepting way, much like we do about these movies. Like, I just want to go experience it because I think it would be a blast.
I might have talked about it either on this podcast or a different show, or maybe just to you in general. There was a book that a guy who used to write at The Onion, I don't know if he still writes for The Onion or not, but he wrote a book called You Don't Know Me, But You Don't Like Me, and it's about him spending an entire summer or a year or whatever going to ICP shows and also going to Fish shows, because they're 2 bands that are like really divisive,
polarizing,
that people hate even though they don't give a shot to. They're like, oh, I don't want to be associated with like a jam band or these crazy clown people or whatever. You know what I mean?
I really am not a Fish fan at all. It's something that I could never get into. But ICP and Juggalos, I'm down. I'll go party with those guys.
But the whole book is like just how he sort of, just became part of both those communities and wound up like really getting into both of them, what he learned, and then by the end, like when he was like, okay, I'm supposed to like stop going to shows now, he's like, I still kind of want to go to shows, and his girlfriend was like, we're gonna stop doing this, right? And he's like, no, basically this is who I am now. It's like, I
am now this Fish Juggalo, and that's who I am now.
Wes says, the reason this is relevant is that around the same time we were listening to ICP, they started a new group with other members of their label using new names that was half parody of, half love letter to the gangster rap genre called Psychopathic Riders. This is actually kind of brilliant and hilarious. The conceit of this group was that they were so gangsta they just stole all their beats from other artists. So,
That's
and this
pretty
is
funny.
a story that got told to the fans. You can decide how true it is for yourself. ICP created a new label specifically for these legally questionable releases called Joe and Joey Records. Oh, there we go.
Ah.
Because it's owned by Violent J, Joe Bruce, and Shaggy 2 Dope, Joey Utzler of ICP. So there you go. That's why, to me, you are Joe and Joey. So I take back the fuck you, Wes. Now I understand what you meant,
Yeah.
but I still want top billing.
No, that's really cool though. I didn't know that it was so weird. We are two clowns too. It makes perfect sense.
Magnets.
How do they work?
Joe, I have to say I'm a little surprised to hear you're a real big Fish fan, but believe it or not, aside from listening to ICP when I was younger, I was also big into ska.
I love ska. I'm a huge ska fan, yeah.
I even did a series of papers on ska in a college English class. It was a lot of fun and really interesting learning about the history and cultural impact of it. Kind of fell off last year, but the few years on Twitter I've celebrated Ska August, SK August, Ska August, and
Okay.
posted a new song each day for the month of August. My love of ska is clearly outlasted my love of the ICP, and I'm still a big fan of the genre in all of its iterations.
It's so much fun. I think it's one of the most fun musical genres. Like I've said before, I don't think you can be unhappy listening to ska. Like I guess there is like maybe sad ska songs, but like it's just generally so much fun. And the crowds like now, if Wes is mentioning this, but maybe he hasn't gone to a ska show recently. It's all still people our age, so like the crowds are so tame and so friendly. They might have a dance circle, but like nobody's like pushing anybody. People move out of the way. People say excuse me. It's like the complete opposite of like what a metal show would be, right? Like nobody's like angry there. So
I think I know that you said this, but I also think that Greg Behrendt, I think it's him, the comedian, has said you can't be angry when you're skanking. Like there's no way to be angry when you're skanking.
Absolutely not. Yep, you can't be angry when you're skanking.
He says I don't think it's weird that this would be people's favorite podcast. It's definitely up there for me. Aw.
Thank
and
you.
not just because I've inserted myself into it, which is very true. Like, how can you love a thing more? Just, take it over. Just become a part of it.
Yeah, just steer the direct. We've had, burger conversations, yeah.
He says you guys have a good chemistry and you talk about a bunch of fun movies in a fun way that isn't built on being negative about anything really. It's sort of refreshing, so good job.
That's our main goal. That's Joey's main goal. He's the one who has that vision, and he says it all the time, that he just like hates how negative the internet is and just wants to be a place that we just have fun and we don't talk shit on stuff. We just keep it in a positive light.
So right before we started recording this, I was listening to the newest episode of Freedom, which is a show that for three people from Comedy Bang Bang, the host, Scott Aukerman, Paul F. Tompkins, and Lauren Lapkus, basically fan favorites, my three favorites. Most people, like their three favorites, they just have a separate show where they play games and stuff, but it's more just them kind of just talking to each other. On the episode that came out today, as we're recording this, Scott was talking about how he decided, I don't know how long ago, just to not say anything nasty on the internet. And he actually went back and deleted all of his tweets that were sort of snarky and assholey.
Okay.
And so he just decided that, like, so many people are rushing to be the first person to be like, sir, this is an Arby's joke, or whatever. It feels like this weird kind of competition where people are rushing to be funny, but nobody's really being funny. They're just being snarky and everything. So I thought it was really cool that, like, this person, a person who gets paid to be a podcaster and be a comedian and be sort of a personality kind of has the same outlook. Like, the internet's a terrible place. We don't need more reasons for it to be terrible.
Yes.
If you don't like something, what is sending a nasty tweet about it going to do? It might make you feel better, but also, if that person sees it or whatever, like, it's kind of a bummer. Like, the
this
person
is something
makes it.
we had this conversation before. We like a lot of music, and a lot of our friends would like tweet at like artists, like musicians and stuff, and be like, your album sucked. And we're like, why do you have to, like, that they can see this, like, whether or not they respond to you, like, why are you shitting on it? And Twitter and Facebook makes it so easy to like directly attack someone. And like, I agree, and I try not to like shit on artists. Like, Comcast can go fuck themselves, and I'll tell them they can go fuck themselves on Twitter every other day because they're a piece of shit. But that's Comcast. Like, nobody, even the people that work at Comcast are reading the tweet like, yeah, we agree. You know what I mean? Like, Comcast isn't a person that I'm attacking that, like, put their heart and soul into giving you internet at an overpriced rate. You know what I mean? So...
But yeah, like, we just, one of the episodes of Gosling we just recorded, we talked about it a lot in terms of, like, this discussion was we talked about Fracture, which is a movie that could have been good, it could have been fun, but wasn't. And I felt bad. It's still a movie that I enjoy parts of, and I think that Ryan Gosling's great and everything like that, but it's just...
I liked it. I still liked it.
What's the point? Like, what do I get out of it other than just sort of venting? Bad movie podcasts can be fun, but at the same time, it's like, well, when you are only exclusively talking about bad movies, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So you just sort of like, oh, you're going to go into this like thinking this is shitty.
It makes me emotionally and like mentally down, because you start thinking about the world like this, right? Like, if you keep doing that, like, then I'm sitting at like in work and just like, oh, this sucks, and like, it's not fun.
Wes says, Joey, I have to agree with you. Austin has a lot of great food, but good Italian isn't as easy to find here as other types of food are. Can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, you always know you can
we're
go.
a little blessed here.
Joe, I feel you in Gran Turismo 3. I generally go for the more arcadey type racing games. He says Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition and Need for Speed Underground are my all-time faves. But my brother, do we know that Wes had a brother? Brother Wes?
No, brother. No, but
Brother
I like
Wes.
that you used the 90 Day Fiancé colloquialisms.
Oh, really?
In another trash show that I like, 90 Day Fiancé, one of the characters.
Has someone done a parody 90 Day Beyonce?
No, they haven't.
It feels like it's right there.
It should, but one of the real people, but this is all fucking fake. He calls his wife's family Chantel, and he calls her mother Chantel and father Chantel. Like, instead of saying like Chantel's mom, because he's a native Spanish speaker, and like that's how it's laid out. For you to say Brother West made me really happy. Brother West, sorry, made me really happy. Brother West. Yeah, Kanye. I was. Brother West.
Wake up, Brother West.
Yep.
But my brother bought me GT3 when it came out, and I played that game for hours and barely scratched the surface.
It's incredible.
So that's really where my love of 3rd Gen RX-7 comes from.
Ooh.
So my main car in the earlier stages, then just a couple months later I saw Dom driving one of the Fast and Furious, and that was it.
You know what? Now that Wes brought this up, I wondered the interplay between, like, being the right age, Gran Turismo coming out, and Fast and Furious all being out, like, right around the same time, had a huge influence on me too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it was like a perfect mixture at the time. That's a very good point. I didn't like put together that they were probably right around the same time.
Because we talked about the PlayStation 2 coming out in 2001, right? Which is the same year that Fast and Furious came out, so
it had to be like right around the same fucking
right
time.
That wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Wes says, I think we'll have to agree to disagree on how Dom and Letty's relationship is portrayed in the earlier movies. An open relationship seems like an odd choice to me, but even if that was the case, Letty's never shown even looking at another guy. She's always just trying to reel Dom in, so it's pretty one-sided. Cassie's suggestion that they've been traveling together this whole time between 1 and 4 is new to me, but I'm not real familiar with a lot of fan theories. It's definitely possible. I just always got the impression from Los Bandoleros that they hadn't seen each other in a long time.
Yeah, it did
that would
feel
certainly
like that.
give a different feeling to their scenes.
Yeah.
I know where you're coming from in terms of the open relationship, but I also think that just, I think it's more sort of pure. It seems like they're meant for each other. You know what I mean?
Why are you not woke enough to understand that maybe Dom can have an open relationship and still love Letty? That's very small-minded of you.
Woosa. In the Fast and Furious Minute, you mentioned the magazine Brian's reading. I could have sworn up and down that in the Limelight article they showed briefly was actually an article about his green eclipse, but now I feel crazy.
Well,
the story I thought I heard about was that this eclipse, like several of the other cars in the movie, was a real-world, well-known car, sort of a car cameo. And that article was a little Easter egg for people in the community. Not sure where I heard that, but I can't imagine how I would have made that up on my own. Maybe someone said that it was supposed to be a nod to his lime green car, and I just conflated it in my head. After doing some digging, I think I found a copy of the article online. Looks like it came from August 2000 issue of Super Street magazine, and it's about a custom-built 95.
Did he send it?
Maybe. Yes, you do. Yeah, I have it.
Can you link? Okay, cool, because we were looking for the article. Hopefully that's it, yeah.
Honda del Sol, written by Susie Chang. Here's a link in the Limelight.
That's awesome. No, because I searched for this too. Thank you, Wes.
So did I. Thought I was pretty good at internet, but, maybe not.
Same.
Wes closes his email saying, that's it for this episode. Maybe not as quick as I had planned, but I hope I provided you with some interesting information. Until next time, stay furious, Wes. Well, I think you did, Wes. I think we learned about Brother Wes.
Brother Wes.
We learned about this article. It's all good stuff. Thank you for writing in. Thank you, everybody, for writing in.
Seriously, and this article is awesome. I'm going to go through and add some stuff to the minute from this. This is very, very cool.
Cool.
Damn, I was like fucking looking for this too. I don't know how we fucked it up, but it's from August 1st, 2000. It has to be this, right? One of a kind del Sol. It has to be this article. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you. And a little tidbit on that. We'll talk about it in the minute, but I've gone back in. There's been a lot of articles and videos floating around, and the guy who sourced all the cars for the first 2 Fast and Furious has been he has like his own website. It's called I think it's called fastandfuriousfacts.com, and he has been putting out videos, and I've been watching all the videos that are awesome. I'll talk about it more in the minute. I have some news too.
Cool. Joe, let's talk about On the Streets, and we've got big news, which I'm sure that we shared on Facebook and on Twitter.
Yeah.
But the big news, this is, again, it seems almost like it's something that we shouldn't like, but it makes us both very happy. Charlize Theron coming back to Fast 9.
Yeah, she's coming back for 9. So we had talked about this, and we said, hopefully, we obviously don't like Charlize in 8. We think that her character was just like a little bland, and it's like maybe it was the writing, maybe something like that. If she can come back in 9 and redeem herself, I think we could have another 4 situation in our hands. Maybe you see it, maybe you're like, oh, this isn't really great, you don't really know where it's going. 4's the first time we got Gal. 4 is when we see Han still alive. 4, we get the family back together. So maybe 9 can make us be like, oh shit, Charlize was doing this. We didn't even catch that. You know what I mean? There's like a whole bunch of Easter eggs that we didn't even know about. So I'm excited for it.
Also returning, same news story, Helen Mirren coming back, which I think is very strange because she plays Mother Shaw Mother.
Mother Shaw, yeah.
What's weird is that Shaw's not in it. So maybe...
We don't have confirmation Shaw's not in it. We know The Rock's not in it.
It's true, but I also feel like maybe I just sort of assumed. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe this means that Jason Statham's in it. Maybe all the Shaws are back. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
but I thought that's sort of a weirder, based on, I guess, what I was sort of assuming. And maybe we don't know. I mean, this is, it's coming out next year, next May.
Yeah.
So very excited about that.
Plenty of time to make wild accusations about it.
Is there anything else? Oh, we have. So they put out the Japanese.
This is incredible. I showed it to my Japanese coworker the other day too.
And so my friend who lived in Japan for a while, who will probably be on this podcast at some point, he translated it because it's called Super Combo. Like Hobbs and Shaw, it's like Super Combo.
It's just if you didn't on our Facebook or Twitter, go find it because it's incredible. But yeah, they just call Hobbs and Shaw Super Combo, which is a great name.
But there's Japanese writing as well.
Yes.
And so the Japanese writing, Wild Speed, Super Combo.
Wild Speed. I wonder if the Fast and Furious is just called Wild Speed in Japan.
It might, because, Wild, Furious, Speed, Fast. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah, that does, right?
Any other news that we've seen, that we've caught wind of?
We've already mentioned that Jordana Brewster got re-announced for 9, right?
I think so. We talked about that in the second half of this episode, too. But yeah, she's officially coming back. They started shooting. I don't know if they started shooting when we recorded the last episode, but, Vin Diesel's posting daily or almost daily video updates. That's how he announced that Charlize and Helen Mirren are back. John Cena's there. Everybody's excited for John Cena to be on set.
Yep.
Jordana Brewster's back. He and Michelle Rodriguez look so happy to be together.
They do.
I really feel like it's going to be, obviously we hope they're all going to be good, but I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm excited.
All right, Joe, I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to search The Rock President to see if The Rock is running for president, and no news. I'm going to search Dwayne Johnson President. See if he's running for president. No, but the top thing says, please, someone introduce Dwayne Johnson to better directors, which...
Why? How? He's in Jumanji, and that person is making a hot take, and I don't like their negativity.
I think a lot of it is that he just likes to work. Like, he's kind of Nicolas Cage in that way, right? But he's more... I feel like he doesn't get the shit for it. Like, Nicolas Cage is like, oh, look at all these terrible movies he's in or whatever. The Rock is in as many sort of, not great movies, but he's just a superstar, right? So, like, I feel like...
He's a superstar, and when you need a gigantic man who's charismatic, who else are you going to call right now?
I guess it's him, or maybe, John Cena seems to be, like, option 2, but he's not...
Dave Bautista. Who else are these guys? Yeah, it's like The Rock, like, is top tier, obviously, and then you got like maybe Dave Bautista, maybe John Cena, and that's all I can think of right now. Like, and Vin Diesel's not going to do it because he's like in Fast and Furious, so like he's like done with like these other things. Hot take. But that guy can go fuck themselves.
All right, Joe, new lab observations. We obviously talked about the movie at length last night. I have a couple things we didn't get to.
I got one big one.
So I'll do a little one first, and you do your big one, then I'll do the other one I have.
Well, mine's actually a really small one, but I just... Go ahead.
So when they're on the train,
yes,
in the beginning of the movie, and it's Mia and Brian, and they're about to steal the cars.
Yeah.
Mia is thumbing through that magazine, and she's like, Tokyo, Moscow, Goa, all these places have in common, no extradition.
Yep.
And I was like, they've gone to Tokyo, they've gone to Moscow. Is Goa? Could they go to India?
Ooh, no, they were in Dubai.
Yep.
Or Abu Dhabi.
Also, so here's another thing that's a little bit weird that I never pieced together. So at the end of this movie, obviously, you have Gal sitting on Han's lap.
Yes, I
definitely
Han's
lap,
remember.
and they're making out, and they're on the Autobahn. And she's like, do you want to go to Tokyo? He's like, no, we'll get there eventually. And they're going to Berlin, right?
Yep.
Cut to the credits after Brian and Dom have their, like, you want to race one more time or whatever.
Yep.
And they cut to the credits, and this is where Eva Mendes says to Hobbs, she's like this car theft or whatever, this big, robbery in Berlin. And I was just like, we've never really pieced together that Han is basically on his way to Berlin, but it has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's Shaw's crew, but it's just weird that he's going to the same city that it happened in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like going on a date with Gal and just like shows up and Shaw's there. I never put that together either. That's a pretty good one.
So what's your new lab observation? Because I got one more that I want to ask you about.
This is my real big one. Rico and Tego are going to do the ship bomb in the police station, right? When they walk into the bathroom, they put caution wet floor sign down, but it's not an A-fold, and I don't know how this exists.
Oh, like the upright thing, right? Like it's got a base and the
Yeah.
upright single in the middle.
But it's not an A-fold one. In America, we only have ones that like fold out like an easel, and he just walks and just sets one down. It doesn't fold. Like he didn't even give it like the magician's shake. You know what I mean? Like where like you have the A-fold and you're just like click and like a ladder, like a step stool or something. He just like sets it straight down. It doesn't unfold. So I need to know if in Brazil they use caution wet floor signs that don't fold open.
Well, Brazilian listeners, if you're out there, we got to ask Nana Lynch from our favorite film site.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
Brazilian. My other observation... Oh, actually, two things. So, number one, I was looking for when they go to the Brazilian race, right? Like the scene where Dom's going to say, this is Brazil. But
Yes.
before that, when they steal the cars, and they have like the party scene, it's like the Solomena, 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 whatever that song, like that really cool, like thumping bassline song.
Yeah.
And it's like the party scene that, we get in sort of every Fast and Furious movie, where it's just like, look at these beautiful people, they're racing,
Yep.
doing this, blah, blah, blah.
Lots
I was
of
looking.
butts.
I did not see any women making out. Combo breaker.
Oh, fuck. You're right. Did no women make out in this movie? God damn it, we've been tracking it, but I got distracted.
We'll have to do a whole lap about this and just look for. We can do maybe we can do
loves-
that in the Nico and Kevo lap when we talk about inclusion. We could do the is there a depiction of homosexuality in these movies?
Yeah, the love of the furious. These are the days of our laps.
Love it.
Does that work?
Sure. So that was one thing. But my other big thing is at the end of the movie, right? Hobbs or middle of the movie, middle toward the end, Hobbs arrests everybody in
Yes.
the transport. They
Yeah.
get ambushed by Reyes' men. There's the rocket
Yep.
launcher, right?
Yep.
Hobbs yells ambush. They get hit with the rocket launcher. They go tumbling. They
Yep.
free them, and then sort of Hobbs is not necessarily on their side, but like not against them for a little bit. He's just like, you saved my life, blah blah blah. I have a question for you. So if you were driving a car and someone in the backseat just yells ambush, what would you do as a driver? Because it feels like this driver does nothing, which I think is probably like what I would do. It's menacing, but it's vague.
The honest, realist answer I can give you is that I would turn the radio down because I can't hear. So they would yell ambush, and I'd be like, what the fuck did you just say? And turn the radio down. That's the first thing I would do.
But you actually, and this is a little peek behind the curtain, you usually keep the radio kind of low.
I do because I can't hear.
Because you keep here's a look the mind of Joe too. He plays this like when we watch TV, it's an uncomfortably loud volume. I cannot tolerate it. Like either when you're watching TV or you're in the kitchen cooking or whatever, I can't deal with it. But then we're in the car, and I have it like at a normal sort of like listening volume, and you just like turn it down. Not the same thing. You just like turn it down. I'm just like it just it's a weird dichotomy. Like I understand why.
So I can hear music. Like I'm very good at picking up what song is playing at low volumes.
Well, because you can feel that perfect BPM.
Yeah, at 128 beats per minute. I cannot distinguish people talking over like a mid to large volume. So like when I'm watching TV, like I don't really need to hear anyone talk, so I turn it down. But like if I'm in the car, and usually in the car like I want to like bullshit. If the volume's loud in the car, then I feel like and I also know that I yell to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know that if the volume's loud, I'm going to try to talk over it in my head, and I'm just going to be like yelling in the car. But
Gotcha.
yeah, that's my reasoning. But yes, I do listen to the car volume very, very low, even
Yeah.
if I'm in the car by myself. And because I also like to hear the outside sounds again because I can't hear. So like if I hear like an ambulance or something, there's many times like I won't hear an ambulance until it's like right behind me. Where if I have the radio loud, then I don't hear it until it's like literally right behind me, and I'm like, oh shit, I need to get out of the way right now. So
Gotcha. Yep.
it's like more of a safety thing too.
So someone yelled ambush, you would just be like, wait, what? And
Yeah,
then
not turn on the
it'd be
radio.
too late.
Yeah, and then we'd already be dead.
All right, Joe, before we get to the Fast and Furious minute, we have one more thing to do. We have to take a walk down memory chain. The Chain Gang, our necklace watch.
Oh,
this is the
okay.
first movie where the chain is a real significant symbol, right? Like, this is like, the
This is
necklace
what
means
we
something.
notice it. Yeah, exactly.
So we remember the last
Start
movie
out.
ended with Brian driving Dom's Charger to save Dom, or to rescue Dom from to break him out of the prison bus, right?
Yes.
And he's got the necklace around his rear view. They
Yes.
bring it to Dom, and then for the most part, and we're gonna track it. It goes here and there. For the most part, it's very prominently around Dom's neck for most of this movie.
For like the beginning half, and then like the last third. There's a part between the middle and the last third that he like doesn't wear it at all, and I'm like, what the fuck?
So we got the necklace around his neck, or in the car, right? And then Dom has a necklace
Yes. Then on the train, Dom puts Dom has a necklace on the train.
on. But then when he gets captured, he's not wearing the necklace. There's one of two things: either it's in his pocket, or he has it under his shirt. But it doesn't look like we even see a chain around his neck.
Yeah, maybe he put it in his pocket when he jumps into the river because he knew he was jumping. He didn't want to like lose it mid jump.
Do you think it's more? And I don't have an answer to this. Do you think it's more likely that you would lose a necklace that it falls out of your pocket, or that it comes unmoored from around your neck?
I think the size of that chain and the free fall that they were about to go through, it would be way easier to lose it off your neck.
Okay.
Than it would be out of your pocket, because you're gonna hit the water too, and it's gonna like splash up. You know what I mean? Like the impact.
Shitty call, O'Connor.
Yeah, I think that if you tucked it in your pocket, it's not like he has jeans on, right? So it's not gonna come out of a jeans pocket.
Yeah. Okay.
We actually need to watch the jump again and see if he's wearing the chain in the jump.
And maybe that's why he doesn't break. Like maybe that's why they crash, because he's so focused on like not losing the necklace.
Exactly.
Like, slamming the brakes or trying to hook a hard right. He's like, I gotta take this chain off. So then there's the change of hands.
Yes.
And this is where there's the three-way showdown between Hobbs's men and Reyes's men and the family.
Yes. Hold on, I want to rewatch this scene just to see if he has it in the jump. Yeah, he's wearing it in the car here. And oh, no, he's wearing it as they go into the water. And the chain jumps up crazy high. Yeah, because he jumps out of the car. Oh, and they don't have it on the stunt jumper.
Those are the little details you find when you watch this movie this obsessively about for one specific thing.
Yeah, so he has it when Dom is jumping out of the car. He like kind of does like a jump out. The chain goes way like up to his nose as he's jumping. And then it cuts to like a side shot, and the guy who's like doing the stunt is not wearing a chain.
Huh, okay. So he must have landed in the water, like saw they were going to capture it and put it in his pocket for safekeeping, I guess.
Maybe. That, we don't know. But
because then he has it on, but then when, Reyes's men show up and Hobbs's men show up and he's squaring off with Elena in the alleyway, we see it around his neck and it's like firmly there. Then as he runs away, Elena looks down and sees it on the ground. So here,
yes.
Here's a hot take. He took it off on purpose so he could find her again?
Maybe he took it off and threw it on the ground to distract her. Like, hey, she might like
but we
the
don't
shiny
see that
thing.
happen.
Yeah.
That's mean.
What?
Hey, lady, look at this shiny thing. Like, she's a cat.
I mean, like, people throw chairs behind them as they run, too. Like, he didn't have a chair. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, hey, shit, what's that on the ground? Like, she could have thought it was his gun or something. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like, it's a shiny distracting thing. I wasn't saying it because she's a woman. I was just saying it's a shiny, distracting thing.
I get it. I don't know what to what end, but it feels like he must have taken it off on purpose, maybe to see if she's trustworthy. Like he wanted to sort of like have a reason to go back. Like in Blue Gossentine, Valentine.
Yeah.
Remember, he wants to find Michelle Williams again, so he wants a reason to go to that nursing home again. So he finds Walter's necklace and he goes and brings it to there. So like maybe Dom is looking for a reason to meet up with Elena again to see, like, I think she's not bad or whatever. Like, maybe he sees in her...
He sees bad in her, right? Because he is bad. He can't see good in her. The Rock sees good in her. He sees bad in her. He thinks he can break bad on her. Like, he can get her to break bad.
Maybe he just has a crush on her. Because obviously they're about to be in a relationship, right? So,
yeah.
But it seems like he must take it off on purpose. And then he's not... doesn't have it for a while because he leaves it on the ground, and then we see when they go to that that confrontation scene, the This Is Brazil scene, that's when she's wearing it. She's like, very few people actually wear the necklace. Like, people have it. Very few people wear it. I think it might just be Dom, Letty, and Elena.
Yeah, I think that's the three. I think that's the only three that wear it.
So that's an important change of custody.
Well, we need to get through the rest of the lap and figure it out. The chain of custody.
But yeah, so then he goes to her house and takes it back.
Does he, he snatches it off of her, too. He breaks it.
Yeah.
He breaks the clasp. He's like, just takes it.
And she doesn't understand why, they have that interaction, like, you came all this way for, like, a $20 piece of, and he's like, it's not about the necklace or whatever, right? Like, it's more than that.
So why would he have left it for her to go back and steal it back from her?
I think he just wants a reason to see her again, like, oh, I left my sweater at your house during the party. Can you mind if I come over and get it?
When you leave, you have to leave something behind, the leave behind.
Haven't watched Seinfeld.
I know, but it's a classic Seinfeld moment. If you did, all these things would make sense.
Dom's got the necklace back most of the entire movie. A very prominent necklace, and he's got it for the rest of the movie, but, it's the big change of custody, the chain of command, chain of custody. That's the most memorable sort of thing. That's the whole sort of reason for that entire scene in the middle, right?
Yeah. Him even kind of, her finding it on the ground, that's really passive, but, her wearing it is, a very pivotal part of the movie. It comes right next to This Is Brazil, that's it, then we know he has to go back and get it.
Why would she wear it? Why do you think she wears it?
I don't know, but then she dogs on it, too. It's not like, oh, I found this dope chain, it's worth so much money. Maybe she wears it as, as a signal to him that she likes him.
Ooh.
So we don't know why he doesn't have it. I think that's up for grabs still. But I do think that she puts it on and wears it, knowing that they're hunting him, so that when he sees it, it's a quiet signal that we're on the same team.
So when we have Ilsa Pataki on the show eventually, when we interview her, we can talk about that, and we can also that also is going to kickstart our best friendship with her and Chris Hemsworth because they're married.
Please, obviously.
So it's only a matter of time. We're going to be like, hey, let us woo you with our comprehensive and encyclopedic knowledge of these movies, of your character, of your necklace. Answer this question, and then invite us over for dinner.
Yeah, please, seriously,
please, just please. That's all we want. Just become best friends.
Something light. That's all we want.
Any other worth noting moments, necklace moments, before we move on?
No,
to
we got our first like full chain transfer situation going on.
Yeah, we had thought that this was going to be such an important thing for every movie or most movies this lap, right?
Yeah.
This is really the first one where like something actually noteworthy happened. So
yeah,
I'm glad it did.
Same.
All right, Joe. The Fast and Furious minute 7.
Talk to me, Jesse. This ain't working, brother.
It's your fuel, man. It's got a nasty hole. That's why you're unloading in third.
I told you we start.
That length in the injected pulse, another millisecond, just tune the NOS timer, you'll run 90.
What's up with this fool? What is he, sandwich crazy?
No, V. He ain't here for the food,
Chill
dog.
out, bro. He's just slinging parts for Harry, man.
I know what he's slinging. He trying to get in me his pants, dog.
What's up, guys? How you doing, Mia?
How you living, girl?
Hey.
Hey, Dom. You want something to drink?
So this one, what did you say this was? This is sort of like a setup, a build-up moment, a build-up minute?
This was a build-up minute. You said it's a good one. I don't think it's a good one because I know the couple previous ones and the next one is going to be really good. So like this one is definitely a lot of building for me. I
do think, and again, it's sort of up for a little bit of debate. It's another pretty well self-contained minute, I think, because like basically the crew shows up and then the minute ends right as the confrontation between Vince and Brian is about to begin.
Yes. You see the crew, you hear them have some car speak, they walk into the thing, you see that they know Dom, and then you see Vince push the sugar bowl at him, and you know that there's about to be a fight, because it's an aggressive push, right?
Yeah. I broke down, I took a digital copy of this movie, and I split into minutes, which is what we're watching. But I went on the 4K disc, and I want to see like where chapters sort of began or ended, because I feel like there could be, I think, whoever does these, I don't know if it's I don't think it's the director, I don't think it's the editor, I think it's just somebody, just whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of arbitrary and it goes from movie to movie, just sort of with reckless abandon. But I was wondering where the chapter breaks are. And so the first chapter ends right around the 3-minute mark. In minute 3, so it ends after minute 3, and that's minute 3 is the one where it's the end of the first heist.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, right before we meet Brian, it's basically like, okay, this is the end of the first little story, and then that's it. But then this chapter 2 that we're in, goes until like somewhere like almost like between 10 and 11 minutes. Like we're still in the heart of this. This is now like...
I bet it goes until Brian drives back to Racer's Edge.
It might be.
I think it does, because I think the fight goes on for a while. Because
Yes.
there's talking, there's Dom, and then he's like, get out of here, in minute-wise, I think so.
Yeah, so Leon, not Lance, important to note, we said that,
Yeah, Leon.
Nick got that before. Leon gets out of his yellow Skyline, you were right. Vince gets out of his blue Maxima, Jesse gets out of his white VW, Jesse checks into the hood of Vince's car, like you were saying, there's some car talk. They go inside, everyone's friendly to Mia and Dom. Vince sits down, aggressively slides the sugar at him. The important thing to know, Jesse is the first character in this world that has a name.
Yes.
Like we were talking, we don't know who this guy is, we don't know, what the lines, we don't know, like we know Toretto's Marketing Cafe, but we don't know that these are necessarily Toretto, right? Like you can kind of assume. But the first character who is named, the first character who, like, someone says, hey, blank, Vince says Jesse, check under my hood.
This ain't working, brother.
Do you have a favorite line of these lines? I had to put on subtitles because the fuel map, it's a nasty hole, that's why you're unloading in third, is, like, real kind of inside baseball.
Yeah, my favorite line from this one, though, is, no, V, he ain't here for the food, dog.
I love, what's up with this fool? What is he, sandwich crazy?
That's a really good one too. That 2-bit interchange right there is probably, yeah, what is he, sandwich crazy? That's a great one.
I guess, I should have assumed this, but I feel, sort of as weird as it sounds, like I don't mean it to be like, spiritual or corny or anything, but like I feel closer to Leon. Like I care more about Leon as a character now than I ever have before. Either intentionally or unintentionally, he's like literally like the fifth banana, right? Like he's just got lines.
Yeah.
He doesn't have anything to do, but here, paying attention to what he's wearing, to what car he's driving, to the lines he says, to the way he interacts with people, like it's kind of, he's more of a character now. And I'm sure people who have watched this movie hundreds of times already knew all this, but someone who's only seen it 5 or 6 times, it's kind of a new sort of experience.
Leon's cool, man. I don't know why he got like a wash out of Fast and Furious, but we'll find out. We were talking about we got a lot of notes here on like what they're wearing and stuff like that. Do you want to go through this?
Sure. So Vince is in the dark jeans. He's got a red tank top over like a faded or yellow A shirt, like a tank top, like a wife beater.
Yeah, it's lots of mesh tank tops in this.
He's wearing a black leather wrist guard on his right wrist, and he's got some tattoos. And so, Joe, you found some info about the tattoos.
I found a couple articles about his tattoos, and people make claims on what he claims the tattoos are about, but they have no references to them. I linked to an article in the doc. Somebody claims that he told UMSFC, which I don't know what that is. I tried to look it up. It is nothing.
Maybe it's the U of M Students for Choice, which is a thing on Twitter?
Maybe. He says, on his right arm, he has a Japanese dragon. It represents a mismatch of twisted memories from his youth and early manhood. Mm-hmm. And he says, but he has slain the dragon. He said the rest of his ink is Native American, and that represents part of his heritage. So the Thunderbird on his left arm that's like very Vince that we see in all the movies, that's why it's there.
So it's actually not Vince, it's more Matt Schultz. It's the actor, not the character.
Yeah, it's the actor that has these these are real tattoos.
Yep.
Because we see them later. It's the same. They're his tattoos, yeah.
And again, if you are a patron and you have access to this document, you can check out the link there. You can also see, I took some screenshots of Vince's tattoos. I mean, I know you know what they look like, but if you want to take a look at them, we got a couple Imager links up there for you there. Jesse's wearing blue jeans. Jesse's outfit is low-key crazy. I don't know if you, I don't think I ever paid attention to as weird as it is. So he's got the blue jeans.
It's so weird.
He's got a sleeveless blue denim vest that only goes like down to about his belly button, and it's like cut and frayed at the bottom. He's got a red, black, and yellow beanie on the top. He's wearing sunglasses. Like he's just like, he kind of looks like a maniac, like a madman.
Yeah. I always think of him, he looks like the quintessential, like, raver, right?
Yeah.
He's like the low-key raver, like the raver that's not currently at a rave, but he could go to one at any minute.
He was reminding me, the sunglasses reminded me a little bit of, like, Morpheus in The Matrix, but also he kind of reminds me of, like, the guys, in the beginning of the first Matrix, the group that comes to take Neo to the club, and, like, De Jour is there,
yes.
And she has a rabbit tattoo. Like, he looks like he sort of fits in there. I just, got Matrix on the brain, I guess, but yeah, he fits in this world, but he also feels like he fits into, like, just like a hardcore sort of druggy scene as well.
Yeah.
He listens to Fish.
No, he definitely doesn't.
You don't think so?
All techno right now.
All techno all the time. And then we got Leon, low-cut black tank top with lettering on it, which we can't read yet. Gray and white plaid, short sleeve, button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Got a silver beaded chain or a braided chain around his neck, toothpick in the mouth, and a slightly styled but low-maintenance hair.
I saw that you wrote that, and I really liked it.
So far, we have Jesse as a character. We now know Mia's name. Don't know Vince's name, but we know it's V.
Yeah.
And we know Harry. We don't know who Harry is. We still don't know Brian. We still don't know Dom. We don't know Leon. We don't know Vince's full name. We're 6 minutes, or this is the 7th minute. We still don't know a lot about these characters.
So I know some car things. And I'm going to come back to what I was talking to Wes about. The guy who sourced all the cars for the first 2 Fast and the Furious movies, his name was Craig Lieberman. He has a really cool YouTube channel. I highly recommend you check it out. And the Facts of the Furious, his website. I linked in the document. I don't know what it is on Instagram. It's Craig Lieberman _42. That's his Instagram name. He posts like a lot of cool like old Fast and Furious pictures on there. If you have Instagram, go like Craig Lieberman. You'll find some other guys too. Craig Lieberman actually owned Vince's blue 99 Maxima. That was his car. He also owned, I think, the Supra and Brian's. It might have been Brian's Eclipse too. but I
Okay.
need to look back on it. I added it to the other minute when we saw Brian's car.
So is this guy like crazy rich, or he just puts his
No.
money into his cars?
No, he was a car guy. He was just like a gearhead.
Okay.
Like he wasn't crazy rich. He was a gearhead. He was like into like the tuner scene. I don't know. Like I'm still not really sure what he was like doing there, but he was in the tuner scene. Like I think he worked for like one of the parts companies. A lot of these guys like worked for one of the parts companies, or like had a garage or something. You know what I mean? Something like
Yep.
this. The Eclipse was owned by John Lapid. So he mentions. I was watching some of his videos. He mentions who owns all the cars. Letty's Red 240SX, that was owned by Helen Cho. Leon's Yellow Skyline was owned by Motorex. It was actually owned by a guy that worked at Motorex at the time named Sean Morris. I couldn't find him. He has a really cool interview with Scott Sentra, who owned Jesse's Jetta. And it's like a 40-minute interview, and they talk a lot about the cars and about the movies and about how Scott didn't want the Jetta in a movie, but Fast and Furious offered them so much money for like having the cars in the movies, and they insured them completely and said, you know, these are hero cars, we're not going to use them for stunts and stuff like that. And they promised him so much that he was like, I couldn't turn it down. Like I didn't want to let
Is that the car that Frankie Muniz bought?
Yes, and he tells this whole story too in his video. I won't ruin it. He tells the whole story about Frankie Muniz. Frankie Muniz came to him when he was 15 and said, I want this car. I'll buy it when I turn 16. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And like, he's like, I wasn't trying to sell it. Like, I just had it. And he called, like, his assistant called me when he was like, yeah, his birthday's in a week. Like, let's wire this money over. And he said he delivered the car at his 16th birthday party, and he took delivery there. And that was it.
Love
Like,
it. I know you didn't make a note yet because we're still gonna, we're gonna get to more of the cars in future minutes. But there's some
Yeah.
pretty aggressive decals and labels and logos on these cars too.
Yeah, we're going to get way better shots of the car, so I haven't made a really solid effort to try to dig out all the stickers, because I know that we'll get them, and there's tons of pictures online. So the first time we get to like the good like pictures of the cars, I'll get all the stickers and stuff.
Yep.
For signs and stuff that I noticed in this one, there wasn't a lot of numbers or letters in this one, right?
It's a lot of characters, a lot of dialogue. This is more dialogue, I think, than we've had in this entire movie combined, probably times two. Not that we're that crazy far into the movie, but there's not been a ton of dialogue yet. There's a
Yeah.
good amount. They banter quickly.
So I noticed some cool things. There's an upholstery store across the street behind them.
Is there a name on that upholstery store or no?
I couldn't make it out. I could just see upholstery store. There is a name for it, but it's very, very hard to read. Second cool thing I noticed is, you'd probably know this. I know you would know this just from being around here. When we were kids, they still do it now. Coca-Cola, on the back of cans, during the summertime, usually puts a coupon for your local amusement park. They have deals with Six Flags and like a bunch of other places. And it looks like when we see the back of Brian's Coke can that he's drinking, that it has a Six Flags coupon on it. It was probably Six Flags Magic Mountain, and I think that's really cool because there's one in LA, or like in California there. So that, I think that's really awesome. And then I saw that the sunglasses are $3.99 plus tax, and that's a cheap ass price for sunglasses. So
I mean, you can still get them today, like the dollar store or Five Below or whatever. I'm still trying to figure. I guess we were talking about how expensive some of the food items are. Last minute.
Yeah.
Maybe they get you in the door with the expensive food. They're like, hey, while you're here, pick up a cheap pair of sunglasses.
maybe it's the other way around. Maybe the sunglasses are loss leaders, and they just want you to eat here.
Maybe. And then a couple music notes. The song "The Team Arrives, Get Busy" by BT ends. And then the classic song "Watch Your Back" by Benny Cassette begins. And we're gonna
Yeah, that's going to start the fight.
That's going to continue into, Vince pushing Brian in a minute or two. We're going to get there very soon. I don't want to say that every minute is a good minute, but I like my qualifications, or what I'm looking for in a minute, I guess, is that I'm looking for like sort of a self-contained story, which I think this is, and I'm looking for sort of interesting character developments that maybe necessarily I haven't noticed before.
Yeah.
So in terms of those two things, I think this is a nice little minute.
I think it was pretty good. I'm excited for the next one.
Any other thoughts about... Oh, and I also want to tease. I don't remember what it is. I made a note of this, but the first line in the next minute is a great one. I don't remember what it is,
I don't remember what it is either.
but it's going to be a great one. Any other thoughts about the minute or sort of first lap observations or new lap observations for Fast 5 before we take a break, hear another word from Bird's Eye Vegetables, and then bring in Brian and Kyle?
Nope, not at all.
We will be right back after these messages.
Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever. This is some numbered episode. Fast 5.
39.
39. Episodes brought to you by Bird's Eye Vegetables. We know you like your dessert first, but we're going to give you those vegetables. Some companies have lofty goals to fight disease or feed the world or save the planet. At Bird's Eye, their ambition is humble. They just want people to eat more vegetables.
Shout out Birdseye. I want to thank Birdseye for being my favorite sponsor of all time because, as our guests, plural, and Joe know, I have just been on a conference call for forever.
Cool.
Like, literally forever. And I want nothing more in this world to continue pounding Coronas and talk about these movies.
And eat vegetables.
Talk about this movie. And eat my vegetables. Shout out Birdseye. With us tonight, as I said, 2 guests. Let's introduce first. Joe, you want to go with the new guest first or the returning champion?
New guest first.
With us tonight, the Foodie Films man himself, host of Foodie Films, right here on the Cage Club Podcast Network, also co-host of the P.S. I Love Hoffman and P.S. I Still Love Hoffman podcasts, Mr. Kyle Reinfried. Hello, Kyle.
Hello. How are you guys?
Very well. Now, very well. 5 Coronas in, very well. Also with us from our Lap 2 episode about Too Fast, Too Furious. You might recognize that voice from our Lap 3 episode about Tokyo Drift, or our crossover episode on Third Time's a Charm, or our crossover episode on High School Slumber Party, or
The way you saying "or" is
on
Is
his
or
very
2
own show, High
syllables
School
or 1
Slumber Party.
syllable?
Hey,
Oil,
hey.
or
Hey, people were talking over when you
Spoilers.
said High School Slumber Party. Say that again.
Sorry.
High School Slumber
Sorry,
Party,
sorry.
iconic podcast here on the network, or as the co-host, once again, also of the P.S. I Love Hoffman and P.S. I Still Love Hoffman podcast. You know him, you love him, Brian Rodriguez. Hello, Brian.
Hello, happy to be back.
We teased you last episode as a returning all-star, so I hope you are up to the task, making our listeners happy with your voice.
I hope so, but you know, I'm not the featured guest here. I've been on here before. I can't wait to hear what the Foodie Films man himself, Kyle Reinfried, has to say about this film.
No, this is firmly a Kyle Reinfried track. You are the featured artist on the track.
Ooh.
You know, he is the Don Omar of the Danza Kuduro, or whoever else
I'm okay with
is
that.
on that track.
I'm just gonna stand in the background and slowly eat chips like Han. That's what
Oh,
I should
don't
have
know.
a bag of chips and just hear a crunch every once in a while.
Let's
Nice
see who you
crossover
end up
from-
being,
As
Kyle.
long as they're bird's eye potatoes, I'm okay with it.
So now, Kyle, some of these questions, Brian, are going to be applied to you because there's some new questions that you have not answered
There are.
yet. But we're gonna go to Kyle first. So now, Kyle, you are here. We're talking about Fast Five tonight. The entry point that a lot of people, including myself, kicked off on the series. Have you seen? I think the answer is yes. Have you seen all 8 movies?
Yes, I've only
Okay.
seen 3 of them in theaters.
Okay, that is the same as me. We are in the same boat there.
Oh wow!
Now,
All right.
no pressure here, but can you rank your 8 movies from favorite to least favorite?
I believe I can.
Go for it.
There's a little joke that, like, I might have given Kyle a heads up that
heads
he
up.
would have to rank the movies.
Perfect.
So he's
This is not a joke that I've been on a conference call for 2.5 hours. I don't know how this episode is going to go. I am just so happy to be here. So whatever happens, happens.
No, I just gave him a heads up that he had to have to rank them. So
Heads
like,
up and
Yeah,
He
I
didn't
just
get
said, is there anything as a
it's
first-time guest?
beautiful.
Is there anything I should know?
And I hope he said no, not at all.
that's why I said first, and I said, "Oh shit, wait, you probably want to rank the movies."
Yeah. So
All right, Kyle. Brand new question that you were not expecting to get asked. Rank the movies.
I'm just gonna say the numbers for them.
Sure.
You going up or down?
I am going from favorite to least favorite.
Okay.
Okay.
5, 1,
Yep.
3, 7, 2, 8, 6, 4.
6 is low. That's way. I think it's the lowest 6 score we've ever gotten.
So just to confirm,
Yeah, they killed Wonder
Fast
Woman.
5,
True.
The Fast and the
Whoa,
Furious,
spoiler.
Oh my god.
Tokyo Drift, Furious 7, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fate of the Furious, Fast and Furious 6, Fast and Furious. Is that right?
Correct.
There are some there that are like right in line with a lot of what people think, and then there are some, like Joe said, Fast and Furious 6, wildly low.
I'm not a big fan of. What's the
series.
name of? the series exactly. I'm not a big fan. I don't know why I'm on. So what's the actor's name? That's the bad guy.
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans, yeah.
Not a big fan of his. He's just very plain to me. Like, I mean, obviously bringing in Jason Statham is really cool. Really looking forward to like Idris Elba.
Yeah. You don't have to validate anything, brother.
I just
get
know
it.
I like the other ones.
You're totally fine. There's no wrong answers here.
Yeah,
as
calm
long
down.
as you like the
Yeah,
movies
what?
and want to talk about or not even like the movies, as long as you're willing to talk about the movies, that's the only answer we care about. Before we get further into the series and to this movie, we've got some lightning round either or questions. Kyle, you're going to answer as you've seen all 8, you're going to answer all 8 or all these questions.
It's like
Brian,
trivia questions.
Nah. It's like a personality quiz, like a quiz.
I've referenced this multiple times, Kyle. obviously you don't listen to this podcast. I give Foodie Films a shout out almost every episode.
He
this
does.
is basically gut instincts. This is not. There's no wrong answers.
Okay.
It's just whatever you think is right. Brian, you've answered about half of these. So when we get to ones you have not answered, I'll let you know. And I want to get both of your opinions. But Kyle, these are all for you.
Okay.
So from the very beginning, Kyle, are you more of a Brian or a Dom?
Brian.
Yes.
Every question, because Kyle and Brian, if you do not realize from the fact that they host the podcast together, are friends in real life. They're very close.
Yeah.
So I want to know,
We're
Brian,
lying next
if
to one
you,
another right now.
And we're cousins.
It's a slumber party.
I want to know, Brian, if you agree with his answers or don't. So
Okay.
Kyle says Brian, and Brian, you say yes.
No, I said yes because that's my name, but
Oh.
If you disagree with one, let us know. How about that?
that's debatable. I don't know. That's tough. Yeah, I guess Brian.
All right.
The white boy-ness.
Is Dominic Toretto Italian?
Yes, we think so.
Is he, like in this movie, he goes, Brazil!
So we talk about probably on what, like a third of the episodes, Joe, what Vin
Ethnicity.
Diesel is ethnicity-wise, and also what Dom is ethnicity-wise.
Because Mia has really good Portuguese in this one too, and for her to be like a stay-at-home sister in California, I don't know where the fuck she learned how to speak Portuguese like that, but
All right, Kyle, are you more of a Mia or a Letty?
Mia.
Okay. If you don't answer this one in a certain way, I will be stunned. Kyle, are you more of a Roman or a Tej?
Roman?
Yeah, that's the right answer.
Because you hungry. Duh.
God, I missed Brian's inflections.
No, just because when I've had to break into a car as well, I've taken my t-shirt off and punched in the window.
did you?
Of course.
Did you really?
Nice.
No.
God. fuck.
Referencing a great film.
I know, but I was hoping that you've done that before too. I saw it mentally, and I was like, this is awesome.
Now, Joe, I made an executive decision. I did not tell you this yet.
Cool.
I was going to tell you hours ago when we should have been recording and we were not. I replaced the "Are you Owen or Deckard Shaw" with a new question.
Good, because a lot of
Because
people don't know who
I will
Owen
never
is.
remember. The new question: are you more of a Hobbs or a Shaw? Which is a much better question.
Much
Oh,
better
Hobbs
question.
all the way.
You're a Hobbs all the way. Brian, what are you?
What am I?
Hobbs or Shaw?
This was a genius idea. I like it too. Good job.
This is tough.
You're definitely much more of a Shaw.
Yeah,
This is the right way to do it. Hobbs or Shaw?
I am
Kyle's
a Shaw.
Hobbs.
I
Brian,
am
who
a
are you?
Shaw. I don't
You're
want
Shaw.
to be a Shaw, but I am. I'd rather be The Rock, but I'm more of a Shaw.
Now, Joe, too, who are you?
I gotta go Shaw.
I'm gonna
All
pound you like a Cherokee drum.
Yeah, I'm not tough enough to like be The Rock ever. So
But are you tough enough to be Jason Statham? Like, I feel like they're
Well,
both,
yeah,
like,
they're both-
very
yeah.
tough.
both of them are tough, but I'm saying like Jason Statham is like funnier and like more sarcastic. Like The Rock is serious and tough. I can't do both.
I'm gonna say I'm also a Shaw because I like to hang out with kids on a
Whoa.
part-time basis. On a part-time basis. It was only creepy when you interrupted midway. Totally normal thing to say until you said "whoa." Then it got
It was the
weird.
perfect timing for
That's
it.
great. Yeah.
Sorry. You
That was some Shaw timing.
Kyle, are you more of a fan of American muscle or import cars?
American Muscle.
Love it.
American Muscle.
Kyle, you more of a fan of Coronas or Belgian ales?
Belgian ales.
Ooh, not too common. Not
Famo-
too common. That's
family?
that's maybe one of the more split ones. But all right, this is a question for both of you. Are you more a racer? Like, if we're having a job, are you going to be more likely to be the one out on the streets, out pulling the job, or are you a designer? Are you the support? Are you back in HQ as Mia in this movie, guiding traffic, as Tej in future movies, working with circuits or whatever he does? Are you more of a racer or a designer? Kyle first.
I'd like to think racer, but I've never had experience with either of these, so I would just try to be as useful as possible. So if they need a racer, I'm up for racing. If they need someone...
Oh, you're pulling a jack of all trades card? Yeah.
Brian, what about you? What are you? Are you more of a racer or a designer?
Well, if you listen to my podcast, we just did both the new Spider-Mans, and I think I'm more the guy in the chair.
That's a cool job.
All right.
I like that job too.
Joe and I are both designers as well. We're not out like
I'm
as
a
much as I think we
tinkerer.
both want to be out there.
I wish I could be
we're
a
not.
racer.
We're behind the scenes.
Honestly, I don't think anyone who would like have podcasts would really be the racer, you know.
I think I've said that before. There's a lot of there's a
Yeah.
lot of these answers that like if you have a podcast in which
Except
a lot
for
of
Joe
people on
Rogan.
this show do, you're not a dom, you're not a leg, you're not
Yeah.
a racer.
Yeah.
Like there are very clear things that you are not because you're like, hey, I'm going to talk into a headset for an hour a week. Like that's
Yeah.
There's a very clear delineation between like what you are and what you think you are.
We're all rabbits.
Yeah. Another question for both of you. We go steal $100 million. You guys are like, this is a great idea. We're going to Macau. We're going to Monaco. We're going to Abu Dhabi. We're going somewhere, and we're going to bet $10 million in roulette. Are you putting it on red, or are you putting it on black? Kyle, go first.
Black.
Why?
It's just what I tend to bet on, and
That's fine.
has served me well.
Good.
Yeah. Brian, what about you?
Red, because Kyle put it on black.
The bane of my existence.
And it rolls 0.
Yeah, exactly, it rolls green, yeah.
Now, later movies, think Furious 7, Fast and Furious 6, the 6 and 7 movies. Are you more likely to drive a car, this is a question for both of you, are you more likely to drive a car into a plane, like they do in Fast and Furious 6, the world's longest runway, trying to get it on as the plane is going, driving into the plane, or are you more likely to jump out of a plane in a car,
With a
GPS
GP
guidance
yeah.
system, landing on a mountain, into a plane, out of a plane? Thoughts, Kyle?
Into a plane, better chances of survival.
That is, I think that's
GPS,
kind of a
GPS
very-
parachute,
yeah.
though. You got that GPS parachute on the way out. So.
I don't know.
Yeah, fuck jumping out of
Brian,
a plane.
what about
I
you?
agree.
Just for the record, Joe picked into a plane. I picked out of a plane. Who do you side with?
Into a plane. I'll never jump out of a plane.
All right, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't all be as daredevil as I am. So
Yeah,
And
you
by
risky
that-
On the
boy.
job.
that is the biggest joke of the episode. I can tell you that much right now. Brian, you've already answered this question. Kyle, this is only for you. Kyle, is the word oil one syllable or two?
One.
Thank you.
I disagree. You told me.
No, wait, no. I want two.
I know.
I'm 5
And you
years
just got
deep.
excited
I
about
want
the answer,
two.
and I was letting you run with it. I wanted to see how far it
Oh
would
God,
go.
I want two. That's too many Coronas that I've had.
It's two.
It's two.
Oil.
I'm from Oil.
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 Question for both of you. Again, later movies, Fast and Furious 6, Fate of the Furious. If you had to choose how you wanted to die, would you rather die in a fiery explosion or by drowning in icy water? Kyle?
Oh my God. I don't want to answer this. Being torn to pieces by a bear.
No,
Ooh, torn pieces by a bear.
That doesn't
Eaten
count.
I'll
by
write
a
it down.
bear, foodie films.
I would just start seeing Circle of Life as I'm being mangled.
You make a joke, but we're going to get to a question like that very soon, so don't worry about that. But I will write down torn to pieces by a bear. That's fine. That's a...
I mean, if I had to answer, if just your two answers.
No. I don't want to. I don't
Okay.
want to know your answer. Your answer is
Okay.
torn to pieces by a bear.
That's fine.
Okay.
That works.
Brian, what about you?
Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. But from what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if I had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice.
Are you Robert Frost right now?
I am.
No, George R. R. Martin.
I'm pulling out the Robert Frost. Or I could have
Are
done
you
the
a
George
song
R. R.
of ice
Martin.
and fire, a poem of ice and fire? So, Brian, who does Robert Frost favor in that? Are you fire or are you ice?
I guess technically at the beginning he does favor fire, but I don't want to be burned. Give me the ice.
Just
At least I
freeze.
could be resurrected from ice.
Yeah, they could save your brain, right?
Something. I don't know.
The Night King can just sort of, whoop.
But then you could rise from the ashes like the phoenix.
Yeah.
A lot of
Just like Sophie
references,
Turner.
yeah.
Another Game of Thrones connection over in the X-Men verse. Check out Access for Podcast. This is where the question comes in. This is a question for both of you, so Brian, I want you to think too.
Don't think, Brian.
We are pulling a job. Joe and I are pulling a job. We're like, we need you to be a distraction. I want you to sing a song to distract this room. Think about in Furious 7, Roman sings Happy Birthday as Letty's fighting Ronda Rousey. What song are you singing, I guess a cappella, to a room of people to distract them? Like, if we need you to be the distraction, sort of buy us a little bit of time.
Good old-fashioned Loverboy by Queen.
Nice.
Ooh, good choice. Great choice.
That, or, I mean, I would stick with Queen, and if I could get, like, a whole wardrobe, I would go, I Want to Break Free and Drag.
That's
Okay.
awesome. I like that too.
Yeah.
Brian, what about you?
I guess my go-to karaoke's are Purple Rain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
That is a
I
good one.
feel like, and I don't want to cut you off, but I feel like if you sing Purple Rain, that song is I love that song, but as a long build-up, and I feel like a cappella, you'd be like, what are you doing? I don't want to cause you any sorrow.
No, you could just come right in at the chorus, like purple, and everybody'd be like, "What
No.
the fuck is this kid doing?"
No, I'm
You'd
doing
go
it
from the
like the
beginning?
film Purple Rain, and I'm going to say, I'd like to dedicate this to my father. No, first he says, this is a song the girls in the band wrote, and then he goes, I'd like to dedicate this to my father. Then he goes in, because then I think people are going to start to pay attention.
I don't
Okay.
know if I've ever told any of you this. I think maybe, if anybody, it would have been Joe. But when I went to the Vikings home opener in their new stadium, the halftime show was like this like Minnesota gospel choir that did like a solid half hour of like Prince covers, and them singing Purple Rain in a crowded stadium, like dark with people's cell phones out, was like a transcendent experience.
I can imagine.
Like, it
Yeah,
was
dude, Prince is dope.
beautiful. So do you want to go with Purple Rain, or do you have a better answer to this question?
I guess more appropriately, I should choose the Danza Kuduro.
Could you sing Danza Kuduro?
That's the
Is
thing.
That's the question.
There's a lot of Portuguese in that. But I think
Okay.
if it's just, you know, like that part, I think people would just start dancing. And, you know, in the beach, I was like, bang, bang, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we get a nice dance thing going on.
I do want to point out, you sent us the music video for that song before we started recording. The video ends with a "to be continued." Is there going to be a Danza Kuduro 2?
I don't know, actually. Let me see.
Joe, like if Brian finds like a Sharpay 2 equivalent for Danza Kuduro, like that is
I hope
a
somebody
game
wrote
changer.
Danza Kuduro fanfiction.
I don't know.
I hope at one point, Lunar She-Wolf, I hope that she's like, you know, they turn on the radio in this car as they're making out, and Don Omar's Danza Kuduro comes on. Like, I want that to be in like chapter 20 or 25.
Yeah, I've gone plenty of chapters deep, and there's no Danza Kuduro yet. Sorry.
Yet.
Yet.
Question for both of you. Revenge of the Nerds or The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight.
Okay. Brian?
I don't. What?
Revenge of the Nerds
Or The Dark Knight.
or Dark Knight?
I forget how I came up with this question.
I guess Revenge of the Nerds, but there's some problematic things in that film.
Yes,
that-
we've addressed that part of it. It's very problematic.
Is that a high school film?
No, it's college.
College. I mean, I'll go with it, but I don't want that to be my endorsement of the problematic elements of the film.
Fair?
It's
Everybody
closer to
said
your
that.
dojo,
We're
though.
okay.
Yeah. Because, you know, in Fate the reason that question exists is in Fate the Furious, when they're both trying to win over Natalie Emmanuel,
Oh, that's right.
Ramsey's character,
Yeah, he says, "You're Revenge
Roman
of the
says,
Nerds, I'm the Dark
Revenge
Knight."
of the Nerds is the Dark Knight. Like, he's the Dark Knight, and Tej is Revenge of the
Oh,
Nerds.
okay.
That's right, yeah.
That's the one question I want to give no context to.
That's
that I want
fair.
to find out what people think when they just hear those answers. What do they want?
Yeah.
Kyle, last question. Last gut instinct. Favorite fast food restaurant? Just kidding. What do you have? Brian said Suki. Do you have a favorite character in this franchise? Is it Han?
It's either Han or The Rock.
Yeah. Shaw.
If you had to pick one, would you pick Han
sorry,
or Hobbs?
Sorry.
Hobbs, yeah, exactly. I mean, now Han's out of it, so I'm gonna end up getting more of The Rock. I guess I'll ultimately have to go with Hobbs.
All right.
I guess. I mean, I love Han, and
Sure.
he's really cool, and I'm happy that they did that whole weird time 4, 5, 6, and 7 are before 3.
7's
That's cool
after.
that we got-
6 is before.
7's after?
Yeah, 7's after.
3's arguably during 6.
To kick off the conversation, when Brian was on for Too Fast, Too Furious, we talked about the most and least family moments because those are building the family
Yes.
lap. Mike's lap, was the ride-along laps. We were talking about, you know, which car scene you want to be a part of. This lap, we are taking a walk down memory chain. As you heard in the opening, Joe and I counted down all the instances of when the necklace showed up, that very important necklace that Dom and Letty share. So when
And
you
Elena.
think of Fast Five, and Elena for a little bit,
Yeah.
when you think of Fast Five, we'll start with Kyle. What is the first thing you think of? Like if somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you know, I just saw Fast Five." Like what's the first thing that comes to your head? Is it a line? Is it a scene? Is it a character? Is it a moment? What's the first thing that comes in your brain when you think of Fast Five?
It could be a song, it could be anything.
I think just being very upset that they thought that Vin Diesel could beat up The Rock.
Oh, okay. It's an emotion
Yeah.
you feel towards Vin Diesel beating up
Yeah,
The
that's
Rock.
like one of the first things. Yeah, because like hot take, I've kept like every movie stub. I think at least I've tried. Like there's
Yeah.
been a few instances that I
Yeah.
lost them or whatever. But one I definitely I made a conscious decision to throw out was Fast Fives.
Are you going to tell this entire story, Kyle? Is this a tease?
I figured once giving this little amuse bouche that there would be, you'd want the whole plate.
Yes, please give us the whole plate.
I want to know.
Give
I
us
don't
a
know the
taster.
story.
I was there,
So in
I'll fact check
2011,
you.
Brian, yeah, exactly, Brian. I definitely will ask for some assistance in fact check. This is what, summer 2011 or late spring when this comes out?
Probably May 2011.
I think the summer before we started hanging out. When I say we, like myself, Brian, a bunch of our other friends, myself along with our one friend Wes, met these German au pairs.
German au pairs.
German au pairs out at a bar one night, and because of that, pretty much this whole, I think the summer of 2010.
Don't gloss over one of the greatest discoveries that as suburban kids we ever had.
This isn't a podcast about like?
So we were living at home and we were kind of bored, and you guys were the introduction. But like, we found out that essentially that a group of au pairs, which fancy word for nannies, who were like around our age, were like living in all our local towns, like 10 of them.
Yeah, and they're all buddies. They're always friends. They
Yeah,
travel
they're all
in
friends.
packs.
Yeah, most of them. I think all of them were German, except for like one Mexican.
I know what you're gonna ask me, Kyle. It was the second group of au pairs.
So it's the second group.
It was
so
au pairs
then
2,
cut
not au
to-
pairs 1.
Yeah, exactly. The sequel.
Did you guys really name them au pairs 1 and 2?
Well, they came
It was
in
like
two
group
ways.
1 and group 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with group 2, and I didn't hang out with that group nearly as much.
You were working a lot that summer.
Yeah, I think I was. Or it was, yeah, it was like the spring. You guys, I don't know.
Or whenever it
You-
was,
I
yeah.
remember you and Mike met them. But anyway, so this was like a rare time that I was hanging out with them, and you, I think Mike Rivera. I don't know if anyone else of our friends went, but then this second group of German au pairs were going to see Fast
Dow.
Five, I believe at the Garden State Plaza. Dow, okay. I did not like it. I'm pretty.
You forgot a big detail, Kyle.
All right, sorry. This is 2011. That's a long time ago.
But you grew a goatee because you loved the trailer to this film, so you could look like...
No. After.
No, it was before. It was before, Kyle.
After.
It was
After.
before.
You
I
grew a
will.
goatee
No,
for the
it's
trailer?
No,
We
it's not.
found the photo. You and I. We were
Yeah,
talking
and the photos
about this.
after the movie
The
came
photo was
out.
before.
No, the photos after.
You were so excited for this Luke Hobbs character.
That's not. See, fake news.
It's not
Totally
fake news. You were so excited for this. You're like, oh, The Rock's joining. I'm really into this.
No,
I
not at all.
swear, man.
No,
I swear.
I am not denying whatsoever that summer after seeing it, and then like at first I was like, this is stupid, and then I was just like, but The Rock was awesome in it, and then I grew my goatee.
I
I'm gonna
knew
look up
the
right-
Luke Hobbs name before this movie came out because you told me because you were getting into it after the trailer.
I
I
swear,
swear,
like,
you were reading on your like chuds and your like websites like that, and I was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. That was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to see this film. You hyping me with the Luke Hobbs shit. You might deny it. It exists.
I'm not denying that I had a goatee.
I'll concede on the goatee, but you were very hyped on Luke Hobbs.
So you saw it, you didn't like the movie, you had a goatee either before or during, one or the other. Why didn't you like it? What did you like about this movie?
I think just because it was such a weird leap from like the franchise. Like it is this like transitional movie that all of a sudden it became like this like crazy heist versus just car
Cars.
culture, which is
Yeah.
not what I even watched the originals. I'm not like a car culture going guy, but you just like think about like this one in particular, such a leap from like the original like remake of Point Break, just stealing stereos and VCRs,
DVD players, yep.
DVD players, yeah.
So like yeah, like that. I don't know. There was some part of me that was like, this is stupid. They're just totally, taking this in a I don't know. The same way I saw Jurassic World versus Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Just like more modern blockbuster that I'm not enjoying. But then I just kind of went, go fuck yourself, Kyle. Like this is a fun, silly movie. As I said before, it's my favorite. I mean, it's between 5 and 1. That's why I said 5 and then 1.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like this, and this is really. That's why I just don't remember being that like pro beforehand. Because you look at all the rock. I wasn't big into wrestling growing up, so I wasn't like a rock guy
Fan,
or whatever,
yeah.
rock fan. And then you look at, and then I was curious, so I looked earlier, and like he really doesn't have like any great movies before this, really. Like I don't know, like I mean, like some I could see if someone liked some of the movies, but this was really kind of his first. This is even before the second. He always gets credited for that Journey to the Center or whatever movies,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
as like bringing it back and like making money and stuff like that. This, if you look at it, is when I think The Rock finally became like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or even just Dwayne Johnson. Like it really showed his on-screen abilities.
I don't think that actually that's something that we haven't really talked about, Joe. That like we've talked a lot about how Fast and Furious #4 was Gal Gadot's first movie. Like it's just
Yes.
she's not the star of that movie, but she's like a very big presence. Obviously she's beautiful, but like she can hold her own in that movie. Like just the sort of the mystery of her. But I don't think we've really talked about how The Rock had been in a bunch of things. He's been known to an extent as sort of
Yeah.
franchise Viagra, right? But like I don't think we've talked about how like this is really relatively early in his movie career, and he's still
true.
like the new draw. Like he's the guy, like he's the big ad in this movie.
Yeah, it's weird because, I grew up with wrestling. The Rock just kind of, like, disappeared for a little bit for me. Like, he didn't go away, and he was such a huge presence in the, WWE universe. I already knew his star power. I didn't even realize it's his first movie because he was always a huge star in my head. I think that's why I have this like weird perception of it too.
I'm trying to think. This must have been the first The Rock movie that I saw. Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, there's the Rundown. There's the Scorpion King. There's
Scorpion King, maybe.
There's
yeah.
Be Cool. There's.
I saw Be Cool before I saw this, but like, I don't remember. Like, I know that he plays a gay character in that. And this is a Mike Manzi theory on the show that we sort of champion every time it comes up. But like, in a franchise as diverse and as inclusive as this is, they don't score high grades in terms of gay and non-heterosexual characters. And we really think that there's a possibility that that Hobbs is gay in these movies, and we really would like to think that there's a possibility there, because he's sort of, a lot of the Rock characters are asexual. We think he could be, there's a chance he could be gay. But I know that in Be Cool, which was 6 years before this, he played a gay character, so we know that he could do that. But here, it's like, this is sort of like fully formed The Rock. We know that he grows over the next 4 movies or whatever, but this is sort of like The Rock as sort of movie star, action, polished, asexual franchise Viagra The Rock. Yeah, I don't know if we ever really contextualize where this falls in his career.
The way their market or the trailers playing for Hobbs and Shaw, he seems to be like into Shaw's sister.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, but I mean, who's
Manzi
not into
theory.
Vanessa Kirby? Vanessa Kirby is beautiful. So I mean, it's
She's
even,
she's
even if you're
gorgeous,
a gay gentleman, you'd be into Vanessa Kirby. So I don't,
ugh,
you know,
women.
But yeah, so okay, so when you think of this movie, you think of just that disdain. Like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Fast Five, even though now you like it, the first thing you think of is that you can't believe a movie would portray Vin Diesel as someone who's able to beat The Rock in a fight.
Yeah, that's probably the top thing, and then the next thing being, I do think about the heist element and kind of bringing in like a team, and I like that whole, Ocean's 11 heist, everyone has a purpose kind of thing.
Because we've talked about that scene where Brian and Dom are on that balcony with Mia, and they're both talking about, like, well, who do we need? And they're sort of recruiting people who see the shots of them getting to the compound. Like, that is Rusty and Danny in that bar, or in that strip club or whatever.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, you think we need one more? We'll get one more. Like, it's the same scene. It's just now, instead of robbing a bank, you're robbing a Brazilian bank.
Franchise has been doing it from the beginning. I mean, I'm sure there's some French film that Point Break was stolen from. This is the original was Point Break, so it's just been and there's nothing bad about that.
There's a lot of homages in there.
Yeah, a lot of homages, and it makes things its own. Like, sure, it's getting it added then like some bit of a confusing timeline to it, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, these movies are still like way better in my opinion than, like, since I drew the comparison before, than like the Jurassic Worlds. Like, that just totally, the original Jurassic Park is just a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Brian, what about you? When you think of Fast Five, what's the first thing that comes into your head?
My goatee.
Yeah, probably. Probably the goatee. Probably the This Is Brazil.
Okay.
Or that panning shot they use like 9 times over the, like, Christ the Redeemer statue.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
in Rio?
How will they know we're
times.
in Rio?
Well, they shot in Puerto Rico, so they just wanted to make sure they got their money's worth of B-roll.
And they're like, wait, is it nighttime in Rio? They're like, here's Christ the Redeemer at night.
Are we not near Christ? Here's the favelas. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's the 2 things.
And you can
Favelas
see Christ the Redeemer on the hill.
Yeah.
Like,
Joe, what about you? When you think of Fast Five, what's the first thing that comes in your head?
it's 2 things now. One, it's always just Italian Job 2.
Yep.
Like, I just think it's the Italian Job 2 because, we've talked about it and how we surmise or suggest that this is just the Italian Job 2.
Yeah, we're still not sure exactly if we made that up or if we found that online because we can't find it again. But
Oh, really?
But the screenwriter's the same, and he wrote Italian Job 1, and he also wrote an Italian Job 2 that never got made, and then he made this instead. It kind of makes sense. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
I was thinking about there's 2 things that I could sort of go to as my what do I think of when I think of Fast Five. One, I didn't think it was going to be taken, although I guess it should have been because it's so famous. But the This Is Brazil line is the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah,
because
that's a good one.
I remember years ago. Oh, actually, I think when you were moving from Pittsburgh to New Haven,
Yes.
and you had that going over party, and I came with a
Yes.
friend, and we stayed in the hotel, and we went to your party the next
Yep.
day. We were watching, just because we were in the hotel room the night before, we didn't know what to do. We had TV on, like TNT or TBS or whatever, and this movie was on. Fast Five was on.
Really?
And we put it on during that This Is Brazil scene. I didn't remember this was Pittsburgh, but this is Pittsburgh. So I remember the hotel room I was in, I was only in...
This is Pittsburgh.
This
So
is
he's-
Pittsburgh!
Traded in a steel town for a hobbit town.
Yeah, because I had seen it, I had loved it by then. What year was that, 2013?
Yeah, 6 years here this year in July.
So 2013, okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I think I had it came out 2 years earlier. I had seen it the year before, I think, on Blu-ray, and then I think it probably had been on TV by that point, and so we were just in the hotel room, and I was like, oh, this is a great scene, and then it was just this is Brazil, so I think of that. But I think it's hard not to think of just, like, them dragging a safe through the streets of Rio. Like, that is just such to use your word, Brian, if I may, an iconic set piece. It's this moment that, like, only this film has ever dared to do. It's so beautiful. Like, you've never seen another
So
movie
much
where
death.
cars drag a gigantic safe through the streets. Like, it's incredible.
Just
They did it in
murders.
Dukes of Hazzard movie. It's not as big, but it's a safe one.
I was going to say, I watched that the other day, and I'm like, holy shit. This is in
And
this
there's a
film
person-
first.
Did the Dukes of Hazzard movie come out before this movie?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it came out in like 2004, 2005.
Oh, jeez.
Back when Jessica Simpson was popular.
That's right.
You should bring her into the franchise.
Oh, I would love to. And obviously, we talked about in the opening segment about how Helen Mirren and Charlize Theron are coming back. But yeah, let's get a third blonde in here. Let's get Jessica Simpson. Why not?
We're adding too many characters already, guys. Come on.
She should be John Cena's
Very true.
sister. Or whatever.
Everyone's got a sister.
Yeah.
All right, so now Kyle, this is basically I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but like the floor is yours. So we've had Brian on twice already. Brian, feel free to chime in, but we've talked about this movie 3 times already. This is lap 4.
I have a question for Kyle off the jump, though.
Go for it.
How shitty did those ribs look, Mr. Foodie Films? Did he overcook the ribs? Did they look that bad? How do you feel about them?
Yeah, that's some like weird, backyard. Yeah, they don't exactly look Brazil like Brazilian barbecue. It's supposed to be up there. I've had it. It's great.
But this is a some sort of Latinx guy cooking ribs in Brazil. He's not Brazilian.
No, the actor's Puerto Rican, but he was in a Dominican jail, so he's probably one of the two.
Yeah, if I had to guess.
A criminal nonetheless.
Whoa. Coming in hot.
You said he was in jail.
I don't know, there was implications there, but we'll leave it. We'll leave it.
I didn't mean anything by it. Those ribs, I don't know.
Look pretty burnt, I think.
Yeah,
so, too.
I've never been too impressed. I mean, there's some good like food scenes in these films in the realm of like bringing people together. It's never necessarily highlighted. I guess it's a great Corona ad. I guess you could say that.
So here's a question for you, and I don't want to put pressure on you, but knowing that like these movies are obviously not about food, but food and family and culture and all that sort of
Runs
plays a
through.
very large part. Do you know the rule around the Fast and Furious barbecue scenes?
The rule?
There's one rule within the movies, not in terms of making the movies, but within the movies.
Yeah. I'm it's like I'm hearing it in my head, but just like in a rumbled Vin Diesel. Whoever takes food first has to say grace.
You got it.
Amen.
Okay, cool.
Family.
It wasn't meant to be a
Family.
gotcha question, but you nailed it.
Thank you.
Kyle, you're absolutely right, though, in terms of, like, what an opportunity. You're in Brazil, you're barbecuing. We want some rodizio, right? And they just do
There you
this. Like, I was a little disappointed with the food selection in the film, but I guess they make a point of
I
it.
guess they're on the run.
Get some street food.
Yeah, I've never been. I need to see what their street food game is like down there. Like they should have been like, this is this neighborhood. Like clearly they're hanging out like that. Cool. I do think of that. Like another scene of like that I really think about is when they're just sitting around there. I mean, well, okay, this is Brazil, but not like. I mean, when you guys were saying that, I imagine you were just saying like the line, not like the scene. Hobbs comes up with his team, his poor team. Like, I mean, you guys, like what's you're saying? Like, remember Han or what's the
Justice for Han.
Justice for Han. Justice for Hobbs's teammates. His like SEAL Team 6 guys.
Oh yeah, they do not last very long in this movie. I can say
No,
that
it's
much.
that's like it's a haunting scene, especially when like his one like black buddy's like looking at him like right before the grenade goes off. Like
The thing to keep in mind, though, is that I feel like a lot of Hobbs' team in this movie are crooked Brazilian cops. Like, aside from Elena,
Yeah,
I
because
think that
they
everybody
provide
he's
him the
with-
team. You're right. He doesn't
Yes.
come in with a team. He comes in by himself.
Justice for Elena now too. Jeez.
There's big problems with Elena, the way that she is just cruelly, spoiler alert, gunned down
And
in Fate of
that's
the Furious.
That's Thor's wife, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
we learned
Thor's
that very
wife?
That's
recently.
canon.
That's
Yeah,
canon.
Chris Hemsworth's wife is the woman who plays Elena. Yeah.
Oh, seriously? In real life? Damn.
We talked about
if
that
you're
a couple
gonna,
episodes ago.
Joey,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're gonna hang out with some kids, hang out with their kids. Those are some nice kids.
Yeah. Elsa Pataki, her husband in real life is Chris Hemsworth. Yeah.
Those
They're
guys
beautiful
were
people.
not Brazilian, his team, who got gunned down. They were all American. The only Brazilian he had on this team was her.
Yeah, because she was the translator. That's weird, though. But he shows up by himself. I don't know.
No, they're there.
No, he's-
They're like unpacking in the background.
Yeah.
Well, there's the people taking apart the car are American. But it feels like the people he's working with in the field, like at least when he first gets there and he's like, I want a translator, they're like, oh, we got plenty of translators. He's like, no, I want Elena. Those people he's working with are all Brazilian.
But those aren't the ones that end up being his team at all, because the only one he wants to touch because of corruption is Elena.
So maybe his team was like just missed their flight or something.
Yeah, I'm looking. His team, it's Luke Hobbs, Riley Hicks. No, that was in the next movie. Okay. So there's Fusco, who's not Brazilian, that's the black guy.
Yeah, Fusco's the black guy who's taking apart the car.
Wilkes.
Yes.
Okay.
McCroy.
Those are some white guy names. For sure. LaCroix?
Yeah, LaCroix.
I'm drinking a LaCroix right now.
And Chato.
The peach pear.
They're all federal agents, though, according to the credits.
Yeah, so they must have missed their flight. Hobbs shows up, takes Elena, and then we go from there. I always kind of assumed that they were like given to him like as part of the team, and he's like, well, as long as they're mercenaries, like I don't care if they're corrupt or not, like I'm gonna kick ass anyways. But you're right, but he is pissed that they get murdered. He says like, you killed my team.
Yeah, that's why he'll ride with Toretto.
Exactly.
So Kyle, what about this movie? What do you want to talk about? Like this is again, the floor is yours.
Oh,
Pick
boy.
whatever you want to talk about. This is your opportunity to get either about this movie or about the franchise as a whole, as relates to this movie.
Do you have any
whatever.
questions for us? Whatever.
What do you want to talk about with Fast Five? Like, this is your favorite or second favorite, like top 2 movie that you love this one. What are your favorite parts? What are your favorite characters, scenes, all that sort of stuff?
I love it in the realm of Fast and Furious. So
okay.
I love the Ocean's 11, like making the team. Because 4, I mean, I have 4 as my least favorite one. Like, I know it did like well in the box office, but like it's pretty bland. Like, you know,
we thought so too, and like we just did it, and we've talked about it.
You thought so. I knew differently.
Yes,
that's the one thing that I was right about. Yes.
The more that I watch it, if you go to revisit it in the scope of all of the movies.
Okay, so that's cool that something's made it better.
Yeah, because like when it came out, I really didn't like it. I agree with you 100%, and I was nervous to rewatch it. And as I keep watching it, and you see that that's the like foundation of the rest of them.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, 4 and 5 are just kind of like a 1-2 punch. Because 4 to me just felt like a reboot of 1 in a way.
Oh, it's not in a way, in every way, almost in every way.
All right.
Yeah, 1000% is. But at the same time, like I was like, that's why I didn't like it. But then as you watch it and you put it into perspective, you're like, oh shit, I see what they were doing, what they were building. You know, you add all these other things to it. So
because 4 is in a way, because Justin Lin directed 3 through 6, and now he's going to be back for 9. Like 4, we talked about this a lot. The tagline is new model original parts. Like they knew that 2 was like a diversion, like a different direction, and 3 was like a really radically different direction. So to bring it back home, sort of refocus the franchise on these 4 characters, on Dom and Letty, Brian and Mia. It's essentially a reboot in a lot of ways. Like it's reintroducing you to the characters and also bringing in, Gal, and sort of bringing in like this more action, this more stylized, high octane.
You're saying that the later films are like lifting it. Like you don't think that they thought like, okay, we're gonna kill Letty, but then we're gonna bring her back. And
Joe's got ideas about that.
I have a theory. So Justin Lin listens to the audience feedback, is my theory, and that he just reverts. He takes into consideration what the fans say about the movie afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's like, he killed Letty, and everybody's like, fuck, we wanted Letty to be in the movie. He's like, okay, Letty's alive again. Like the same thing with Han. Like, we loved Han. Why did you have to kill him so fast? He's like, Han's in the next 3. And that's just how I think he plans the movies. He's quick to like try to change course back, like to steer back. So
are there post credits to 1 through 4?
1, yes. So in 1, Dom drives off. Like there's like a little like monologue where he leaves
into Mexico.
to Mexico.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
3 essentially has a post-credit scene, but it's in the movie. It's where Dom goes there. Like it's part of the actual.
I remember that, but that's like at the end. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is the first time since 1 that there's like a big sort of, and 1's not really like a twist. Like this is the first one where it's like, oh shit, Letty's alive. And bear in mind,
exactly. And they bring back Eva Mendes.
Yes, I would love to have her back. Like we've talked before about how she comes back, but like I don't know, like what's she doing?
I don't know. I think
other than the fact that we talked about in Boyfriend Material, our Ryan Gosling podcast. She basically retired from Hollywood. Like she's a mom now.
Yeah, she's done.
Which is awesome.
She's done.
But I would love to have her back because like even if she's just like this capacity, like I feel like not expanding the world, but like reinforcing that this world exists.
It's just it is weird that like I was expecting her to be in 6.
Same.
Because I don't think at the time she was a mom yet. That they went out of the way to have. I mean, it's fun. It's cool. But, like, it just seems like that would be a cameo there.
I just don't think anyone controls this more than Vin Diesel, and I think he just puts people in who he wants to hang out with. I think he liked
That's true.
Tego Calderon and Don Omar, And then I think he just stopped liking them. I think they got annoying to him. I'm serious. And he was like, fuck these guys.
That's what happened to The Rock, man. That's why The Rock isn't in 9 and he's in Hobbs and Shaw.
Evidence
and that's
right
why
there.
Cena, like you go ahead and you take like arguably the next biggest name in wrestling of that like kind of era. I mean, it's at least a big wrestling name. I mean, having her and the post credits, having what's the character's name? The guy from the first one that hates Paul Walker.
Vince.
Yeah, like having him in it. Like that's a cool reason that they're down in Brazil. That added a nice little like heartfelt moment of like
bringing family back,
and then that he actually is good, like he didn't screw them over, but then he's the one that ends up dying, which is very sad. And then what's the son's name? We named him Nico. So even if the other ones do raise 4 and you can see that they're laying like some no pun intended, some track, that this one does end up being just then that great dissolve into this bigger, crazier country hopping heist films.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, that's what I did not enjoy it. I don't know why. I mean, maybe I was just even in a bad mood that night. Maybe the Germans were pissing me off because they weren't letting me get any. I don't know. I really don't know. But point being, because I do really enjoy this movie now.
I was watching this movie tonight when we got to the scene that you just mentioned, where Vince lets Dom know that he named his son Nico. I looked at Rachel and I was like, well, if we were ever to have a kid, we'd have to name him Dominic, right? She was like, absolutely not.
Why not?
I was like,
why not?
And I was like, wait, it's going to get better for you. And I was like, how about Brian? And she was like, Brian's okay. I was like, middle name O'Connor. And she didn't like that either.
But what's the weird thing that they do in the latest one? Doesn't he name the kid Paul?
Brian. It's Brian.
Brian.
It should have been Paul, but they're like, hey, meet baby Brian. It's like, well, you should have named him baby Paul Walker. Like, we know what you're going for.
Okay, so that was so they named him Brian, but it's like in that world, Brian's like off, like healthy and with his family.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of then weird that he's being named after like a kind of an, because I don't know, this is a whole weird situation.
Joe, I don't want to out you to the world because your last name is as secretive as anybody who doesn't want to Google Joe 2 or Joe D, right? Like,
yeah,
you're hidden, but you're not hidden. But I do like that if you named your kid Brian O'Connor, his initials would be B-O-D. It would just be Bod. Nice. Like, he would have such a pressure on himself to have this like ripped physique. Just be like, guys, I gotta go to the gym.
Brian
My parents named me Bod. Yeah. So important within the context of these movies. The first 4 movies in this franchise are all like an hour 45. This is the first of the 2-hour, 10-minute plus. Like, this is the first like super-sized,
long one,
both in terms of egos and
I think it's got
actors.
A great flow
this movie
to it.
flies
I
by.
agree.
Yeah, exactly. From all my other podcasts or when I've guested on other podcasts, you guys know I like reading IMDb trivia. And supposedly people had like, that was, or not people, critics, like that was one of their bigger like, oh, it's so much longer. I'm like, I think it's got a really good pace to it.
Yeah.
So as far as it's got fun action set pieces. I mean, we've got the train heist and we've got a great reveal to like Dom showing up. It just gives great cause to the agents being killed on that. So then you've got to bring in kind of like a double bad guy thing going on with like the law, but then obviously a bad Brazilian guy that's after him as well. I mean, just a great introduction to Hobbs. We get down to Brazil and I think it's just like a real they're on the run there too. Bring in the team, then I don't know. It's just got a really good. It just keeps something's right after the other. So as far as the length, I have no problem with it. I think it's a really fun film. And like you said, Joey, you think of then like that final. I mean, it gets so heist movie in Ocean's 11 that we have to see then the whole switcheroo of the safes and everything. It's just a lot of really fun action set pieces, and you can see why now there's even a Fast and Furious Universal,
which Joe and I went to. I don't know if you knew that, but like we went down there. We went on that ride.
But aren't they having like shows too? Right, the travel.
There is the stunt show. Yeah, there's a separate, altogether traveling sort of road show.
Takes over for what was it back in the day, like Waterworld and.
One thing I want to point out about the heist at the end here. We've talked about how like a lot of what they do, like a lot of the prep in this movie doesn't matter because the plan that they're going to have gets thrown out the window. Like when Reyes is basically like, we're going to lockdown, tripling the guards coverage, like find another way to steal it, right? So that's when they break in, they literally rip it out of the police precinct. What we've never talked about, I don't think, is how Puerto Rico and Tego have to do all that literal shit duty to no end. Like they go in there to basically tap the video cameras, right? Like they go, they put the pipe pipe bombs to like blow up the water in the toilets.
They blow up the toilets so they can go in to fix them
Yes.
to tap the things. Yeah.
That one cop taking a shit in there is not nearly wet enough. Like the fact that so much water bursts out of those toilets. Like I've noticed it every time, but I've never commented on. He is not nearly wet enough for how much water comes out of the other toilets to be like just like he's got to be drenched like to the bone.
No, because
like,
your
literally
body,
to the
no,
bone.
because your body blocks it. It's like all up his beehole.
I guess, but still, like he's got like just like his pants, like just like the whole like lower torso is kind of be like.
No, but you gotta like if he had closed leg positioning, I think you could shield yourself from a lot of it.
You think he's a closed leg shitter?
Yeah, that's. Did you just assume his shitting position?
Corrupt cop working in Rio. He's gonna
just
be like a
balls
competent
deep?
wide leg. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he is, but maybe that's just how he's outwardly. Maybe this is like a reflection of his inner character struggles, and that like he comes off as a corrupt Brazilian badass, but
Maybe.
but inside he's just a tight-legged shitting little boy.
A teddy bear.
Yeah.
A shitting teddy bear. They go in there, they cause the pipe bomb, they go in there to quote-unquote fix it, to then cut that chunk of concrete out of the wall, tap the cameras so they can then get the camera the footage so they can
Yes.
sort of guide and whatever. None of that matters. Like the fact that they stole the cars and everything, whatever, like that none of that matters. The fact that they stole the cop cars, none of that matters. But I still feel like the one thing that really had like lasting, like if anybody's gonna go to therapy after these movies, it'd be like Rico and Tego, be whichever one is the one who like just goes in there and like has like basically an existential breakdown. Like it smells so bad in here. I can't believe we're doing this. The fact that he gets to go through all of this to no end is just, it's devastating.
I mean, it definitely falls into that, and that's like close to like the Marky Mark Italian Job. There's no point except for that they were re-releasing the Mini Coopers for the Mini Coopers to be in that movie. 'Cause originally, like those cars are supposed to be going through like they're just small enough to fit through his wide hallways or whatever.
Yeah.
But then Ed Norton finds out about it, so then he takes it on via the helicopter, or he's in a helicopter and it's put in the truck, whatever it is. So it's like there's no point for Mini Coopers.
No,
so.
but isn't that the hallmark of heist movies? You rarely see like, oh, let's plan something out. Oh, it went
And it
all
goes
according
exactly
to
as
plan.
planned. Yeah.
Great.
Well,
See
yeah,
you later.
No, Oceans is everything goes to plan.
No,
They're
but they
one-
give
they're
you
one
they
step
give
ahead.
you do, but they shoot it so that you didn't know that it's going to according to plan as it's going according to plan.
They do that for this too, but it didn't go to plan. But then they show you how they pulled it off.
Yeah.
Like how The Rock didn't end up with the safe at the end or whatever. It's like a double down of didn't go right, but then it went very right. I just like imagining this whole movie. One of the things I read was Hobbs was originally envisioned for Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we talked about that, and like
So dumb.
especially in the later movies when they add in Kurt Russell as Mr. Nobody, like we feel like that's more of a Tommy Lee Jones role. Like I feel like Hobbs as Tommy Lee Jones, completely different dynamic.
Yeah, there would have never been Hobbs continuations.
No,
There
of
would never
course
be a
not.
Hobbs and Shaw without him.
Was it ever confirmed that Kurt Russell's character is supposed to be Brian's dad?
No, no.
That's a new theory.
I
What?
thought I read that somewhere. That again, just a theory, but then but it sounded like it came from a credible source, and that would have been like part of 8. That it's just like, oh, so like he left because you go into all the cliches of had to leave because you wouldn't have been safe if I was there, yada yada yada.
I'm into that because we've talked a lot about. So as we talked about the opening, Charlize Theron, as I mentioned before, Charlize Theron's coming back for Fast 9. When we did the Fate of the Furious episode on Watch the Throne, like after we had talked about it a couple times on here, like we went over to Watch the Throne, and Joe, Mike, and I talked specifically about Charlize for an hour. We were like,
Yeah.
we want her character to have purpose, to have meaning, to make sense.
better.
Basically, without more context, Fate of the Furious sucks. Like, it's our least favorite movie.
Yeah.
Her character's terrible. Like, it doesn't add anything. That's why we're so happy that she's coming back for 9, because maybe it'll sort of redeem or salvage or whatever 8 by adding more context.
Was she gonna be like a bad guy by mistake, and someone had information on her?
So,
No,
continue,
so
Joey. The
one of the
theory
rumors-
is...
One of the theories is, and the reason I bring it up now, is that one of the theories says that she is possibly a Shaw sister, which is probably unlikely, but also that she's Brian's sister, and that she was some kind of like, long lost or,
That's
separated
stupid.
sister
That's
or whatever.
really
Like,
stupid.
Don't bring any more Brian lore into it, because it's just not gonna be good. Because you can't have him in it. Like,
well, there's also the rumors that like his family wants Brian to come back, by like having his brothers do the body doubles and then having them CG. Like his
I'm sure
family,
they
like
do.
Paul Walker's family wants him back.
That's what we said too. I was like, I
Would they
hope
spend all of his money already?
that's
So-
exactly what I said, and I was like, I hope to God it's not that, and I hope that they just like want his legacy to live on. But it really feels like they're like, well, we can't like ride him any longer, so
Yeah,
like let's.
Yeah, then they
Yes.
want the brothers to be successful too.
There's no better way to be successful than to have your dead brother's face glued on your body in
Yeah,
CGI.
digitally glued on. Yeah. Doesn't it feel like, I mean, the Scott Eastwood role that's supposed to be Brian, like just a pretty blonde? It just feels like they just kind of came up with that character to fill in for like the lack thereof Brian. So
Yep.
then that just would have added more again if this whole Mr. Nobody was Brian's dad. Like that, you know, again, all that would work. And then if you wanted for some reason Charlize to be, I don't know, a
What if
sister or-
what if we have both of these theories come true? That Mr. Nobody is Brian's dad, but also Charlize is Brian's
Half-sister.
sister,
Let's go
half sister.
half-sister.
Yeah, and then now we have like this huge family implication, and the family's like fighting itself, but the other family. It's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm really excited about. Like, I don't think we haven't talked about it, and I don't know if I've ever really thought about it, but that's why I'm excited about Hobbs and Shaw, because I feel like for the first time,
Kind of start anew.
a franchise that's so about family, we're going to learn about their actual family. Like, we're going to know about, like, we know Helen Mirren, we know the brother, we're going to learn the
Yes.
sister, but we're going to learn about Hobbs' family.
Yeah, because we get his brother and his cousins and whatever, because we know that's
Exactly.
coming there.
Considering how family focused this franchise is, the fact that we know like nothing about any O'Connor other than Brian, that we know nothing about any Toretto other than Dom and Mia, it feels like there could be such an opportunity for more. And there's going to be that Netflix series about Dom's cousin or whatever, but I feel like that's an easy way to expand, right? Like have more people somehow tied into the family nature, and sort of it gives them instant credibility because of the characters that already exist.
Yeah, I mean, with Hobbs and Shaw, they're definitely doubling down. I mean, they were introducing a Shaw sister and then all of Hobbs's, like, family. Which is weird that he, like, they're definitely going to have to address that, like, he went into law when that family does clearly illegal things. Like,
No spoilers. I've only watched the one trailer. No spoilers.
There's supposed to be mechanics or something based on what I was reading earlier. Like they like have like a body
It's
shop. or
probably some kind
something.
of chop shop. I understand that, but yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
sorry. I
No,
don't
it's
mean to-
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but we don't know the trailer things because once I watched the second one and it nearly like ruined the whole movie, I was like, Joey, don't do it.
Also, by the way, we talked about it in the opening segment, but if you want to join us, if you're in the New York area, join us Thursday, August 1st in the Palisades Mall screening, 7:30 p.m. 2D screening.
Brian
We
will
will
be
be
there.
there. Brian, what about you? What about this movie? Because you've talked already about Too Fast, Too Furious. You talked about Suki, Bend Over Boy. You talked about Tokyo Drift. What about Fast 5 do you want to talk about? What do you love about this movie?
This is like the all-star game of Fast and Furious films, especially as a fan.
True.
You know,
True.
and when this came out, you're like, oh shit. And I think I talked about this on the Too Fast, Too Furious podcast, but Fast 5 was amazing because it validated Too Fast, Too Furious and Tokyo Drift.
Very true, yeah.
And it was like, oh, and I don't like franchises that delete their mistakes. I like when they work them in. And I'm not saying those films were mistakes, but a lot of people thought they were.
Yes, at the time for sure.
Absolutely. And I was always curious because let's face it, I mean, we know, right, there was probably 2 scripts for Too Fast, Too Furious. One with Dom and one with Tyrese in it.
Without Tom, yeah.
Obviously, Dom wasn't in the second one. But for them to just, like, meet up here, and then I was so happy that they were able to work those characters in specifically and kind of give them jobs. I know they kind of expanded, what's his name? Luda's, why am I forgetting character names all of a sudden?
Tej.
And then the fact that they're, you know, they keep bringing up the We Hungry, and, like, everything I liked about, you know, Tyrese's, like, acting in Too Fast, they brought back and they've extended. Exotic location, you know, just like I said, the all-star aspect, the heist thing, how they still, we see car races between them, like that $1 million quarter mile, I believe it is, with the police
Yes.
cars.
Which, can we just talk about, we may have talked about this already, but like, that is way longer than a quarter mile, right? Like, it's got to be way longer than a quarter mile.
2 stoplights. It depends on how. I mean, Fast and Furious time and speed doesn't matter. It transcends time.
Because it's like a 30-second or a minute-long scene, and
It
they're
is.
going
It's the
fast.
Kessel
I also
Run.
have a question for you, and this is mostly for Joe. I don't know if Kyle and Brian, I don't know if
What?
you guys know cars the way that Joe knows cars. They're driving, or at least Dom, like, upshifts in his cop car. Like, are cop cars really anywhere in the world manuals and not automatic? Like, to consider that
Possibly in
you're
Brazil.
chasing after
No, you know what?
perps?
They are. I bet, like, in all of Europe, the cop cars are manuals, because every car in Europe is a manual.
Okay.
Like, I
That's
mean, like,
fair.
well, a large majority of them. So I can imagine that the Brazilian cop cars are manual. Like, I can't tell you for sure, but it doesn't surprise me.
And maybe this is just coming from somebody who like doesn't know how to drive manual, only drives automatic. But like, I feel like if you're in pursuit, right, of a car, I feel like the last thing you want to be focusing on is like trying to like hit like the shift. I know it becomes second nature, but like, I feel like the less you can sort of
You
take.
don't even think about it.
I guess I don't know, but I sort of thought it was
Because
weird.
then all the racers, with that theory, all the racers would drive automatics too.
Yeah, I guess, but you know, I
Joey,
don't know.
the only reason I say this very boring fact is because asking about the cop cars, but on IMDb it says Rio's police squad has never used Dodge Chargers or any the other models shown in the movie.
Oh,
in
okay.
fact,
Okay.
by the time the movie was shot, the cars that the Rio de Janeiro police really used in law enforcement were the Volkswagen Golf, the Chevrolet
sense.
S10, the Chevrolet Blazer.
I feel like in Tokyo Drift, they're like if you hit 180 or 190 or whatever kilometers an hour, they just don't go after you. I feel like here they're just like, well, we just can't, if we're in a Volkswagen Golf, like we just can't go after you if you're going that fast.
I mean, they had to throw some Chargers in, like some Challengers in there, right? Because like now, at this point, the franchise is buddy buddy with Dodge, so it would not be as cool as if they were driving Golfs, essentially.
I mean, this is also the movie that we get cool, like, how they always have to steal the fingerprints. I mean, shout out to
God.
Gal Gadot.
I do like that. I don't know if we talked about this before, about, when they go back and Hans, got the suit in his hand and Roman and Tej are giving him shit, like, oh, I thought you were a thong guy or whatever. They're like, oh, did he smack that ass or just grab it? And then again, like, it doesn't quite make sense, but I like that as a callback that when they find out that Mia's
Yes.
pregnant, they say the same thing. It's like, well, it doesn't quite make sense, but it's also kind of a joke.
And also, they weren't there. Brian and Mia weren't there for the first time that it happened, so it's only a joke for the audience and Roman. Like,
Good point,
like
good
Brian
point.
and Mia laugh, but that's like a very aggressive thing to ask your wife.
I guess
that
that's
is
like
pregnant.
the opposite. That's an opposite of a no knees to niece joke. Not to bring that up again, but like no knees to
Yeah.
niece is not a joke for the audience. It's a joke explicitly for the characters. We still don't understand.
That is odd too. They almost reacted like they didn't even know that they were like dating.
Yeah, there was no possibility that she could have ever been pregnant.
Did you smack that ass? Did you like? It's like almost like how did you get with her? Like how did you sleep with him? Like
It's like we've been in a relationship for like on and off for the last like decade, right? Like we've been together for a while
Yeah.
now. That might just be because it's the one like Roman's the conduit. I also feel like, and I've never gone through the announcement of a pregnancy, but like I feel like they announced to the world like very soon, like very early. Like I think you're supposed to wait to make sure that the fetus is healthy and everything. Like it feels like Mia's not showing at all. They're like, hey, she can't drink, she's pregnant, guys. Like let's talk about it. Like it feels like it's an early announcement.
And then she just blows that balloon up in her belly in her shirt, and then we're good to go.
Yeah, and then the end of the movie, no extradition, baby.
yeah, what a gender reveal, huh?
So what else, guys? What else do you want to talk about Fast 5 before? Because we got some games. We want to find out which Fast and Furious family member Kyle is. We already got Brian's. What else do you want to talk about this movie? Talk about the franchise, Kyle? There's a chance that you guys are both back at some point, but for now, treat this as like your final episode, even though we've promised Brian he's been on like every lap forever. But what else do you want to talk about with this movie or the franchise?
I got one to get you started.
Oh, please, yeah. Anything for a jump start.
Wink, wink.
Joey, as we were watching these movies, it's now our fourth time. Every time Joey watches it, he finds a new place to cry at.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I mean, that sounded worse than I meant it. I'm
No,
glad
no,
he
no.
didn't
It's
take
very
it.
true. My Letterboxd review tonight was literally, this movie has me on the verge of happy tears for 131 minutes. Like, I don't cry out of sadness here. It's just
Yeah.
like I cried one time while watching this movie when they cracked open the safe. I was like, oh God, they did it. Like, I cry. I'm just so happy that this crew pulled up this. Like, I love this crew. I love this family. I love this movie. But yeah, no, I cry really any time in the movie.
I definitely don't have any emotional ties to this movie. Like, I mean, I do feel bad for Hobbs's team starts getting, like, shot down, and then...
So for me, I just want to say that because I was thinking of Joey and how he cries in all the movies, I'm watching this movie again, and I get to the scene where Dom says, money will come and go, but this right here is what it's all about, family. And they cheers. I choked up a little bit for the first time in this one.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And like the more that I watched them, like I was laughing at Joey about like, oh, I cry like in these like weird parts of the Fast and Furious movies. But like when that one choked me up, I was like, fuck, I'm getting there too. Like, you know what I mean?
I cried at 5 distinct points during Avengers Endgame. Like, 5 distinct points. Like,
Yeah.
I was clear of tears, and I began once more, and it was like sad. Not like because I wasn't enjoying it, but because I was invested in those characters. I just can't say that I am as much for these guys. So I guess if there's any close of like that kind of when watching something and feeling a bit of like happiness or sadness, like between like those two, would just be coming off of the real life, like watching the end of like Seven, a real life tragedy. Other than that, like these are just kind of, with this one in particular becoming like a rip roaring like fun time, and you get these awesome moments of The Rock and his number one, like, I don't know why he doesn't have a goatee anymore after this one.
I did not cry tonight, but the closest I came is a point that I cried before. It's when Mia first tells Brian that she's pregnant, and they're at that waterfall, and Dom like
You
looks
are
around.
Such a romantic. It's really funny. Like you cry at like very sentimental parts.
I only cry at I don't sad cry in movies. I almost exclusively happy cry.
Oh, I sad cry all the
I kind of wish that I don't know. Like movies I've sad cried during the end of Call Me by Your Name. Let's go swimming right now. When he's just like staring at the fireplace.
Right now.
I'm just like, oh boy, like that gets me. But I feel like most of the time I'm just like, oh, I love these characters. I love this moment. I love this franchise or whatever. Parks and Rec made me happy cry so much. It's the happy cries that I have the most.
Yeah,
but
that's good, man.
In this movie,
yeah, it's healthy.
Where Mia tells Brian she's pregnant, and then Dom like turns around and just like, she's like, I already lost my family once, I'm not gonna lose them again. Dom's like, we're in this together. It's just like, that's such a family moment. I'm like, oh god, like I came close again tonight.
Yeah, I was just saying that I can relate with the Dom speech and him like this right here, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
and I just got a little chill and. Yeah, I felt it. It was
Brian,
coming.
what about you? Do you cry during any of these movies?
I've gotten emotion. I get more just like really excited. Like at the end of 2, at the end of 5. I mean, the Paul Walker death stuff is sad.
Oh yeah, that's just waterworks, like guaranteed.
I'm more just like the end of this, when they're all showing what they did with the money, I get super, super excited. Yeah. When the Joe Budden plays and Too Fast, Too Furious. I get super excited. Oh, okay. The end one, of course.
Because they play it 4 times in that movie. So.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Joey, you mentioned Parks and Recreation. Kyle, did you notice Perd Hapley is the reporter at the beginning?
You heard with Perd.
Yeah, he's one of the reporters at the beginning. Yeah.
Actor Jay Jackson, I think, or Jay Johnson, one of them. He's basically playing Perd Hapley.
Yeah.
Not Perd Hapley.
I've seen him in other TV shows and other movies too, where he's playing like a news.
Is he actually a news reporter?
That wouldn't surprise me if like
in
the
LA
same thing as,
or
like,
something,
Yeah, like the same way that what's his name got to start playing like a doctor in Knocked Up, Ken Jeong. On a cinematic level, I think to a much deeper effect with Carrie Fisher passing away in the and affecting Star Wars. But I'm interested to see obviously where they go. At least that it's for like the final entry. But it is interesting to see post Brian, like, because you kind of almost you feel bad like for Jordana Brewster. It's just like, she probably wanted to keep making some money and like.
Well, so she's back in 9. They're bringing her back in 9, but it feels it's felt like for a couple movies they're like, oh, we want to bring her back, but we can't bring her back because we told her in 7. We're going to let you down there. You know what I mean? So
it's cool that they keep, like you said, like Helen Mirren is, coming back, and Charlize. Vin Diesel said like 10 is like it as far as at least like this family's
that's
story,
what they
right?
say. Whether or not that's true or not. But also, Joe and I have sort of mapped out. So this year is going to be Hobbs and Shaw. Next is going to be 9. Then in theory, possibly
a girl spinoff.
And then probably Fast 10. And then Hobbs and Shaw 2. But now we're like 5 or 6 years out, and we're still like, quote unquote, done with the franchise. You know what I mean? Like there's still so many movies.
I think for 10, and again, I think I must have read this somewhere just because, try to sound like a schmuck, but I don't really think to the fan theory like the way I do with like Marvel movies, as like for the Fast and Furious, but I do, do read articles when people are like theorizing. I think that they should do for 10 like a time jump so like Dom's son can be involved somehow.
Yes, we've said this. We want Dom and Brian's son to be like the new team.
A real true Gauze Beyond the Pines situation.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Kind of wonder if we want to have that as 10 or if that should be like 11, where it's just sort of like a cameo from Dom. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of it's the 11's like the sort of the next generation. You know what I mean?
Obviously, I want 35 of these movies.
Of course. So what I do like about this movie, like people, if you look on Twitter, like people do shit talk these movies. Like people, say like, I can't believe that like people only make Fast and Furious movies anymore. This is kind of like a butt of a joke, but it feels like maybe because people didn't grow up with them in the way like they did, like older people, like the way that they grew up with Star Wars.
We're hitting a point where like kids didn't see the first one like as it came out. Like we're definitely at that point now.
When people get mad that there are so many Star Wars movies or so many Marvel movies or whatever, I feel like those are properties that people who are older than us, like in their 40s or whatever, grew up with, right? And so it's been around forever, and they're sort of getting burnout or whatever. Like this is as much a butt of a joke as they only make these movies anymore. But it feels like the scorn isn't as real in a way because people aren't as into it. Like it hasn't been with them for 40 years. It's only been with them for 20 years, which is still crazy.
Yep. Yeah, it is crazy.
I do love Marvel and Star Wars more than I do love Fast and Furious.
That's fine.
You have some very talented filmmakers coming in and taking, between Justin Lin and then what was the last one was F. Gary Gray, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got talented filmmakers. I mean, and I 100% agree with what Brian said before. Maybe things people didn't like in the past and not just disregarding them.
Any last thoughts for either of you before we figure out which family member Kyle is?
I'm so excited to figure out what family member Kyle is.
So let's get to it.
Brian, if you remember, you got Roman. You are still our only Roman. All right, Kyle, so now the backstory here is that Joe found a quiz online on Zimbio.com that was a which Fast and Furious character are you? The questions were fine, but we're like, we could do this better. So we did our own quiz.
And we did it better. I think we did it better.
So we have 7 questions.
They had about 6 characters. We have about, how many, 20?
We have 20 characters.
And it's not enough as far as I'm concerned. There's no Bilkins.
Yeah, I know.
Yet.
Brian wants some very we think 20 characters is a lot because we have some characters that you're just people are Brian's where's Bilkins at? And everybody's God damn it.
Kyle, we have 7 questions. Each question has 6 answers, multiple choice. No wrong answers here. Whatever feels most right to you. Again, sort of like gut instincts. Okay. Question number 1, Kyle. Brian, knowing Kyle as well as you do, I want you to see if these answers are correct or not. Mike Manzi surprised Joe and me when he's like, oh yeah, how furious are you? The answer he gave, we were like, oh, wait, what? You're you are not this furious. But apparently he is. He's harboring a rage.
Write down right now who you think I am and then hold it up afterwards.
I mean, I'm going to say you're probably, my guess is Roman.
I don't want to both be Roman, Kyle, so I hope you don't get Roman.
I'm surprised you're Roman. I would think that you're Han because you're always picking at things.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm hungry, too.
All right, Kyle, question number 1. How fast are you? NASCAR, roller coaster, Lamborghini Murcielago, Toyota Prius, Vespa, Razor scooter?
Roller coaster.
Brian?
I guess. I mean, that's a hard one to really assess.
Yeah.
Kyle, how furious are you? The Hulk, which is what Mike Manzi said. We're like, oh boy, okay.
That's
the
scary.
Hulk,
That's scary.
Kylo Ren, Christian Bale on that one set, Mel Gibson, Charlie Brown, or Jack McBrayer?
I'm going to say Mel Gibson for you, Kyle.
I was going to say, isn't that when he's just, under the influence? So, that's not...
No wrong answers.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just trying to think of, when, my anger comes out.
Maybe you don't remember because you're the Hulk.
Maybe. I would say the Hulk.
Okay. Now, Kyle, we're having a barbecue. You are the foodie films man himself, so this is a question firmly in your wheelhouse. We're having a barbecue. How are you helping? Are you manning the grill, saying grace, kicking back with a beer, babysitting, being in the entertainment, or sneaking a snack?
Is it my barbecue or whose?
It's a family barbecue. We're all hosting it. It's at a neutral
barbecue.
location.
Everyone's hosting. Oh boy, most likely manning the grill just because, that's where I'll end up. But I would love to just be sipping on a beer.
Joe, I hide the answer. I don't know what his answer is until the quiz is over. Based on how he's answered so far, I have a sense of where he's trending toward.
I do
but we'll
too.
see. Kyle, question number 4. You've got time to kill. What are you doing? Grabbing a bite, working in your car, hanging with friends, drinking a beer, working out, or working on your computer?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. Hanging with friends.
Okay.
That's what I want to do with my free time. Yeah, hanging with friends.
Definitely.
Most likely at that grabbing a bite or a drink with it. but if I have some free time, going with friends.
All right. Now, Kyle, you are at least in terms of Brian's stories, you are sort of a notorious bachelor through the years. Now you are tied down. You have a lovely girlfriend right now, but you're still not a married man. But I want you to picture for a second. I want you to describe your wedding. I'm never getting married. It's just me and my partner. It's us and our families. It's a backyard country affair. Everyone I know is there. or I don't remember?
I would love everyone I know is there.
Okay.
That would be fantastic. That's just so much
Yeah,
money.
that I know that's not probably in the cards because of money, but if you had it your way, Kyle, that would be.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it would be a 1,000-person wedding.
And at Burger King, you can have it your way. Shout out Burger King.
Not the sponsor this week, though.
Once and future sponsor, maybe. Kyle, congratulations. You just won the lottery. What are you buying? Your own garage? A private plane? You're going to gamble it all away? Your childhood home? A fleet of cars? Or a new life?
A fleet of cars.
Okay.
Oh.
That character I thought you were trending toward, you took a hard pivot away. I don't know who you're going to be now. You're not who I thought you were going to be. Kyle, final question. What is your drink of choice? Belgian ale, Corona, something fruity, water, whatever's cheapest, or whatever you're having?
Something fruity.
Okay.
Nutcrackers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, shit. New character, new
I told
family
you, we're
member.
diverse, dude. Our quiz is good. Go ahead.
Kyle, no wonder Brian and Kyle are such good friends. Because Kyle is Brian's favorite character. Kyle is Suki.
Ooh, that's who I guessed too.
Oh.
But this
Kyle,
was
your bright personality and
Nice,
artistic
Kyle.
flair makes you a very popular person, and it's easy to see why people are drawn to you. You're an optimist who can stay positive even in defeat, which might be your most valuable trait. Always
Definitely
up for a
not.
good time and willing to take a risk. You're a hard person to pin down, but you're always there when your family needs you, and you drive, like the wind blows. Thank you, West Hampton, for that write-up.
I would agree with all of that except for that whole optimist part.
You know, for a while, I thought, for the first few answers, I thought you were trending hard toward Dom, and then you took a pivot towards Suki in a big way, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not Dom. Fuck Dom.
I'm a
I
little
hate Dom.
confused with my feelings right now.
No, I think it firms up.
Are you in love with Kyle? Is that what you're trying to
I
say?
could be, maybe.
But Kyle doesn't have the right parts for you?
How do you know, Joe?
I don't know, man. I don't
Take
know.
a look underneath this hood.
Okay.
So I think, and I'm double checking right now, I think that Suki is the most of a long shot. Anybody who has gotten this or taken this quiz has got. There's only a 3.35% chance that you can get Suki. Suki is the 6th least common result. So Kyle, you're in rarefied air right now.
Yeah.
Does this mean that I'm woke?
It does.
Yes? Is that what you
Yes.
want? If
Yeah.
so, yes, you're woke.
It means whatever you want it to mean, my friend.
I would trade with you.
Now ask me all the same questions again, and let's see if I give the same answer.
You definitely won't. You definitely won't.
We're going to play on the show a game called This Ain't No 10-Second Race, a.k.a. Boy Do We Have a Podcast for You. Now, I'm going to ask all 4 of us to go on Twitter and find any tweet that you think someone, if we reply to them saying, Boy Do We Have a Podcast for You, who on Twitter will be interested in learning about our podcast. As you take time to find out or find a tweet, Joe, let's review last episode's results. So I found Drewski on Twitter, at Drew Corvera, said, LMFAO, don't let me hear that Tokyo Drift song, cause bitch, we zoomin'. And he quote tweeted a video, boy, do we have a podcast for you? Nothing.
Damn.
I felt good about that one. Did not pan out. Now, Joe, you gave me, I don't know if you remember, but you gave me a tweet that said, it was from Melly
What was
Telly. Either deleted the tweet, I think
I think she blocked us.
she blocked us, and I think she also blocked, she blocked also Cage Club, I think, because I can't view it there. Sentimental Cactus, at Melly Telly, I think I'm going to tattoo a communist symbol. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Nothing.
Well, the guy in Fast and the Furious 4 has a scythe and
Hammer and sickle.
on his neck,
Yep.
and we went off this tangent talking about his neck tattoo for a while. So
Larson, our past guest, Christian Larson, found Ricardo at Recar_Doe562. Only pussies run nitro meth. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Nothing. As you might have gathered from those, it is very difficult to do well on the show. Brian got 0 the 2 times he's been on. I only have 8 through 30-something episodes. Joe's in the lead with 15. Mike Manzi's in second place with 9. There's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, other than the wrong answer is most of the tweets we find. So if you find someone on Twitter that you think would like our show, put the link in Discord, and we'll go from there. Joe, you found one?
I got one, and it's time sensitive, so we gotta get this out there as quick as possible. This one's from Giovanni at Long Live Lanky. He says, this 7-hour car ride fucking sucks. Boy, do we have a podcast for him.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah, 39 minutes ago. He's 39 minutes into a 7-hour car ride. He can listen to like 3 episodes.
Hopefully, we provide him the relief he needs.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I thought that was a good one. I might get something from that. Because he's bored. He's tweeting while he's in a 7-hour car ride. Like,
all right, Giovanni. Long live Lanky. Brian, you put 2 in here. Which one do you want to do?
My argument would be that you should use both because it would help promote the show, and they essentially say the same thing, but I can't choose between the two. You don't have to count my points. It's only for personal points.
You're doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah. Pick one. That'll be my point count one.
that first one, though.
I also like the Twitter name. Why don't you read both? Because I also like the Twitter, the name, the handle, not the @ but the name of the first person.
AJ, the man of 1,000 prototypes.
Yep.
At AJ Jones Dev. And he's responding to someone. At Jan Jerome. I had Danza Kuduro play at my wedding because of how much I loved it at the end of the Fast Five.
Boy,
that's an incredible. Yeah, that one.
Have a podcast for you, so I'm going to take that.
And we'll count that one as mine. I'd also like to respond to this guy.
Sure, no, by all means. I was also thinking, I told Joe recently that, like, we should start doing this on Letterboxd, too, because I feel like Letterboxd is, like, where our fans are going to live. But, yeah, by all means.
This is by Jose Montana, but Jose is spelled with Hozay. I think the absolute happiest I've ever felt in a movie was the end of Fast Five, when the gang busts open the vault, money starts pouring out, and Don Omar's Danza Kuduro plays for the rest of the movie.
It's a pretty great moment.
Boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Those were both great tweets, but the guy with it at his wedding is like
that's the one I'm
top tier.
counting. That's the one.
Yeah, that's for sure. Joey, you got one?
Here's my thinking, right? So, like, in theory, if we send this tweet right now, say we search Danza Kuduro, no offense, Brian, not throwing shade, Fast Five, Danza Kuduro, whatever, Brazil, Rio, whatever, they look at our feed, they don't have an episode about Fast Five, the latest one. So I've been trying, and it's not been working, to go back
Yeah, nothing works.
So I'm trying, I know that nothing works, but I'm trying to find, like, I'm just searching now, Gal Gadot, Fast Furious. It's not as lucrative. It's not as lush a stomping ground, or as you will.
We got Kyle's. Kyle, what do you wanna read yours off?
Marco Cervantes tweeted, "I wonder what the car chase count is so far in Greater Los Angeles in 2019."
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Do we have a podcast for you? If you're into fast cars and into Los Angeles and car culture, by all means.
Perfect. And it's in the middle of a conversation, so hopefully one of these guys respond.
So I'm going to take this tweet. Hugh Blackman at _GRZY_. I know that Hobbs & Shaw is going to be a run-of-the-mill The Rock action flick, but the trailer's been nothing short of flames. That Hove mix, man, boy, do we have a podcast for you.
That Hove mix is fire. I agree.
We have 2 car pictures. So we're going to do one. We're going to do the one that Nick Burris sent us. Kyle and Brian, how, on a scale of nothing to you should be working in a body shop right now, how much do you know about cars?
Very little.
I could draw you a nice picture to put on your fridge.
Well, I would like that. I would like that very much. But I want one of you to be on Joe's team. I want you to... Yeah. The game that we're going to play right now is, like, basically guess that car, name that car. Do we have a name for this game?
Car guessing game?
Car picks? So what we do is we have listeners write in and send us pictures of cars, and me, knowing nothing about cars, tries to get Joe to guess what the car is. And so I am very unhelpful. Not intentionally unhelpful, I just don't know how to describe things. We try to get Joe to guess the car. So there's a little bit of clues, a little bit of hints and everything. So I want one of you to be with me, give the clues, and I want one of you to be with Joe guessing the car. So who wants to be on what team?
Give.
Kyle's with me. We're going to try to guess what this car is.
Okay.
We get to ask some questions, too. The first thing he tells us is the color of the car.
Why?
Every time.
That's no matter to
Unless it's a rare color.
He did it unintentionally.
Unless it's like Mustang red.
No, he did it unintentionally the first time we were playing this game. It's silver. And I was like, cool.
I can't. It's hard. It's very difficult. So Nick sent in 2 pictures. It's the same car. It's 2 different pictures. One is silver, one is blue. One, the car is rocking Goodyear tires. Does that help?
Okay, maybe. Okay.
It is a British car.
Are we looking at the same car?
Jaguar.
No.
Or do I only have...
You can guess.
There's no wrong guesses.
Yeah, there's no wrong way to guess either.
Joey, let's confer.
When he said it's a British car and Brian goes, "Are we looking at the same car?" That's a bad sign.
No, because read that explanation.
Yeah, I know. It's a British car, but it's also kind of an American car.
Oh.
Okay.
It's
Brian, I'm going to send you another link. I'm going to send you another link on Facebook if you want to take a look at this. A little bit more background information.
No, I got it, but saying it's British is a cool clue, but I'm reading the Wikipedia. Don't worry, I'm reading it. It's a little misleading as well. No, exactly. You're going to go with that. No.
It's not a Rolls, no.
Keep going.
Well,
What's it look
it's
like?
a British American car. It's the countries got
It's been
together to
made-
make this.
I think 2 companies make this car.
2 companies made the same car. They called it different things in different places, kind of thing.
I
Kind
think
of.
it's called
but
the same thing in both places.
You'll probably know it more from its American
Yep, I would agree with that.
name.
It's like a Shelby? No.
Yeah?
Shelby.
Yes, correct.
Carroll Shelby? He
It
didn't
i-
make British cars, though, did he?
He
Well,
worked with
it's
them.
not made by Shelby in Britain.
He worked with them on this car.
Oh, interesting.
So it's a very rounded car.
Cobra.
That's correct. That's correct.
Kyle again, correct.
Kyle, you got it.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
It's my dad's dream car.
He got it already.
That's it? Just a Shelby Cobra?
Yes. Well, it's more a little bit more specific than that.
Oh, I'm
Go
going
ahead.
by your link.
Do you know the British manufacturer? Do you know who made the Shelby in
No.
Britain?
No fucking way. Because real Shelbys were always made by Carroll Shelby. And the Shelby team is, like, in America somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the British part was misleading.
Yeah.
This is, and I'm going to send
Go
you
ahead.
both the link right now,
Please. I'm
This
curious.
is
I'm really curious.
the AC Ford 427 Cobra, which is made by AC Cars in Britain and Shelby in America. Nick says it's British with American power, known as the Corvette Killer.
Yes.
Beautiful car.
Oh, yeah, it's gorgeous.
Looks James Bondy.
I was actually in one of these like Shelby race cars with no top like this, and they're like death machines. They were Corvette killers. There was one at Auto Palace across the street, and it was a blue and white one, very much like this, and it was like one of the last racing ones. And the thing that I remember the most about it is it had these like really long exhaust. I don't know if he has a shot of them here, if they had it there.
On the side.
They did there, but then out the back too, it had like extended exhaust pipes that were really, really bizarre to me, and I remember seeing those. Like, instead of like them fitting to the back of the car, they like shot out.
Oh.
They like stuck out further, like another like 4 inches or something.
Interesting.
And I remember seeing that and being like very confused by it.
So this is your
Yeah.
dad's dream car, Kyle?
Yeah, he has a 350 Mustang engine that, from a Mustang, I mean, he still has the body in my grandmother's garage, has been there since like 1973.
Your dad's been hiding a body in your grandmother's garage. Oh, Kyle, way to out him.
But to quote him, that the engine that he had for the Mustang would be too radical. Because the Cobras, I mean, most of them, you go to so many car shows, you see Cobra kits.
Yeah, they sell kit cars for them, yeah.
Yeah, so you can get that, and you can put, and so point being, he has like supposedly a perfect engine for a Cobra kit.
I do like that Kyle, it seems like he undersold his car knowledge, except it seems like we
Yeah, he
also might have hit
nailed it.
exactly the sweet spot of like what the one car that he knows, but
Man, it happens to be like a very talked
you were
about
you were
car.
meant to be on this
Very
episode.
popular
That's all
car.
that means.
Yeah.
Well, I want
The
to thank
British
you
thing
both.
threw me off so bad, yeah.
But I want to thank you both for joining us tonight. Thank you again for being as flexible as you were in terms of the recording time.
Oh, you can't even see how flexible I am right now.
My,
Suki
boy.
is very flexible.
Ooh, my work schedule a little crazy tonight, but I appreciate you both joining us for this episode. Brian, thank you for coming back. Kyle, thank you for being here for the first time. Kyle, if you want to tell our listeners about your, I'm going to call it podcast and a half. You've got the one going on every week, and then you got the one a couple times a month. I'll let you talk about foodie films first, and Brian, you want to jump in and help Kyle talk about P.S. I Love Hoffman. Let the listeners know about your Fine podcast.
Yeah, so as it's been said, I am the host of Foodie Films. It's nearing a year. It's definitely evolved already, just even in its first year, due to my own work schedule that I decided to make it a every other week podcast, but then realized, I still want to put out stuff in those in-between weeks, so those in-between weeks have become sometimes a video, sometimes these short episodes that I've dubbed the short order sessions.
The two of which you've done with people who have listeners to this podcast are familiar with Mike and with Brian.
Yes, and I need to have you on for a regular episode, but then also shorter sessions, because it's been almost a year, Joe.
I was on episode 2 and not since then.
Joe hasn't been on at all.
Who's
so-
counting? Who's counting?
As far as releasing the regular episodes, I do ones that are based on foodie, food movies, food-centric movies, but then also I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of talented people in the food industry. So starting with Pat LaFrida, my godfather in the foodverse, has introduced me to so many people, so I've dubbed those episodes First Cuts.
Yep.
So those are some really fun. If you're really into food, those are great episodes.
Or honestly, just into like cool chats with people who have like a lot to talk about. Like I just love those. Like I like food, but I'm not into food the way that you are. But I just like the way that you get them to talk about whatever they're passionate about. Like I think it's a very whoever they are. It's always an
good wave.
interesting conversation
Yeah.
to have with them.
Yeah, it's the most natural to just the kind of podcast that I listen to the most, just as far as interviews and conversations and just meeting new people. So those are really fun. Well, my first podcast ever was with Brian Rodriguez, and that was P.S. I Love Hoffman, where we talked all the films inspired by you and Mike, obviously, talking Cage and then talking Keanu. We talked all the films of the late great actor Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Well, don't forget that you were also inspired by me and Joe talking about Zac Efron, too, of course.
Truth.
Yes, exactly. That ended over a year ago, but we started releasing episodes dubbed P.S. I Still Love Hoffman, again, inspired by you guys for Cage Club Rewatch. But it's fun. We have our Hoff fans, as we dub them, vote. And so far, I mean, Brian, we've covered? We started with Boogie Nights. We've covered 3 P.T. Anderson PSH collaborations.
And now, Brian, you've talked about High School Slumber Party a couple times. We did an episode basically.
Hopefully
this
they listen
show
to High School Slumber
did an
Party.
episode over there.
Yeah.
If you want to refresh our listeners' memories, what's High School Slumber Party all about? Every Friday. So Kyle's show every Wednesday. P.S. I Love Hoffman every 1st and 15th of the month. Every Friday, Fridays Are for Fun, High School Slumber Party. Brian, what is your show all about?
It's all about me and my friends walking down Memory Road. Is that something? Memory Road? Memory Lane? People usually say Memory Lane, but why can't it be Memory Road?
Memory Avenue.
Yeah. Memory Boulevard.
Memory Boulevard. Yeah.
Boulevard. Ooh, I like Memory Boulevard.
Memory cul-de-sac. Who knows? Who cares? Regardless, we're watching some films that take place in high school. Not just ones in the past, because we've done some modern ones as well. All 3 of you have been on that show.
Yes, we have.
And we have a very good time, so...
It's a blast. I love that.
But again, thank you both for joining us on this very special episode of Too Fast, Too Forever. For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, you can go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever, or at TooFastTooForever on Twitter and maybe Instagram. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page. Decide what we watch. Schedule your own pit stop viewings at TooFastTooForever.com. And come back. Bonus episode next week. Our Hobbs and Shaw preview. Joe and I are going to give our full rundown of what we want, what we don't want, what we hope, what we don't hope, everything that we might sort of possibly kind of could maybe see in Hobbs and Shaw next week. So bonus episode next week right here on Too Fast, Too Forever. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And that was Kyle Reinfried and Brian Rodriguez of the 3 podcasts we talked about. I'm not going to give them another plug. You know them already. And we'll see you next time, next week, bonus episode, right here on Too Fast, Too Forever.